Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 4th of October 2018. This is The Gap, episode 439. I'm with Lawrie, Joab Gilroy is here, and I'm a little tired. I just got off a plane.
Got off a plane? Oh boy, are your arms tired? No, that's if you flew in. Fuck. I screwed it up.
But I didn't.
But you didn't what?
Didn't fly in. I got a plane.
You got a plane?
Yeah.
Like a Greater Western plane.
Exactly.
Yeah. Puns, baby. That's the level we're on. Luke's jet lagged.
And we're out.
I'm generally lazy. Yeah, you're not getting your best when you come to the Gap. You're getting, the rest, and that's all that we can really promise.
Yeah, and that's all we've got time for today.
Sadly, yeah, we're gonna have to wrap it up. It was good. If you want to listen to more of the Gap, check us out on iTunes. The Gap. Go to thegap.com. And you can
that is
buy
not our website.
Buy some of our shirts.
Okay, that one, yeah, okay. I didn't know where you were going with that one.
Yeah,
but I see what you did.
Anyway, yeah, no, we're not affiliated. I just want to make that very clear, and we've never pretended to be affiliated. Not even just then when I pretended to be affiliated. We're not.
We are definitely not.
It was for purposes of fair use and parody.
Yes.
I've heard if you say that at the end of any YouTube, you can get away with fucking anything. So
pretty much anything, yeah.
So that's the dream. That's good stuff. Yeah, good episode. Yeah, thanks for coming, Luke. Where did you fly in from?
LAX.
LAX. You flew in from LAX?
Yeah,
would you say that, boy, are your arms tired? Because now you're stating that you flew in as opposed to taking a plane. Your story's changing. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw the news this morning. But there was an emergency landing at Sydney International Airport. A plane coming in from LAX.
What?
Had to run out of fuel, and apparently it turned out it was just like an instrument issue.
Oh.
But I think what was going on, like they must have been in a holding pattern or something above Sydney.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, fuck you, we're landing.
Wow.
And so they just landed, and like all the major roads around the airport were closed. And so after you land and you find out that this has happened,
yeah,
it's quite interesting. Yeah.
So was it your plane or?
No, it wasn't my plane. It was like a American one. Either it was
Delta,
probably United. Delta.
Yeah.
No, to be United because Virgin and Delta are code shared, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but there are still Delta actual Delta run flights out of Sydney.
Right.
I know this because I have had the unfortunate pleasure of being on one once, and it is the fucking worst. Imagine you get to the fucking gate and you're like, oh yeah, it's a Virgin flight. Virgin Australia is usually pretty good. The food's okay, and then you get and the fucking tail says Delta on it, and you're like, oh god. And that was one of the ones where they painted my seat. Do you remember this story? One time I was flying back and the seat had blue paint on it. I'm like, I can't sit here. The seat has paint on it. And the flight attendant was like super shirty. She was like, ugh. She pops the fucking seat out, walks away, comes back with a seat that doesn't have paint on it. Like, as if, first of all, I'm terribly inconveniencing her because I don't want to sit in paint. And second of all, their seats can't just be fucking really easily replaced. Crazy. Anyway, Delta sucks. Yeah, fuck Delta. So, yeah, it wasn't you. It was an American one. Was this, maybe they were just trying to get in before fucking
everyone else?
Curfew. Yeah.
Maybe.
So just trying to snake it through.
So we were actually delayed a little bit from because generally, like when you fly in from LAX, the planes leave around between like 10:30 and midnight, so they can get in
Yeah.
For curfew.
Bang on curfew.
Yeah, at Sydney Airport, and our flight was delayed. We got on there, and we must have been sitting at the actual, like the terminal still for, I don't know, an hour and a half maybe. Like they load up everybody, and then they're like, "Oh, actually, we're now unloading 6 passengers, and we've got to fucking take all their bags off due to regulation or whatever."
What?
And then so we're like, "Oh, fucking hell!" So I don't know what these guys were doing out the front that caused them to get fucking unloaded from the plane.
Yeah.
But I could, like, I had a window seat towards the back, like all the Australian crew were at the back, and I could see them going through like all the bags. Like they unloaded all the bags, and they're going through like trying to find 6 people's bags.
Right.
And this went on for fucking ages. And then eventually they must have found the bags. They put them all back in, and they're going, we're taxiing down the runway.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, the fucking plane stops, and it was a decent stop. Like, the fucking brakes went on, and like, because at that stage I was watching something on my tablet, and I actually like, I had to grab my tablet to stop it from falling on the fucking ground. And I was like, oh, okay, that was pretty hard. And then we don't move for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then finally the fucking captain comes on, and he's like, we've had to stop, as you may have noticed. We had to put the brakes on pretty hard. There's a bunch of witches' hats like laying out on the tarmac.
What?
It looks like a car's dropped them all, so we're gonna have to wait for someone to come pick them up. Like traffic controllers.
Wow.
And so we're sitting there for like another fucking 20 minutes waiting for someone to come pick up these witches' hats.
That's amazing.
Anyway, LAX is pretty good.
Just really fucking nailing it that night, huh?
Just nailing that LA experience. So yeah, that was actually only half of the leg. It was probably like a 36, maybe close to 40-hour transit for us. So we flew in from LAX. We were in Washington, and from Washington we got a flight from West Virginia.
Right. I have no idea about American geography, so I had no idea how that would work. But I assume that Washington, you're talking about Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
And that's on the right-hand side of the eastern side of the country,
East
right?
Coast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is West
side to the
Virginia
other
over there as well?
Yeah, West Virginia is out back towards that way as well. It's like a little bit more in. It's like the next state across.
Right.
So we got a... look, I'll go back to start. So for LAX to Washington...
Yep.
And this is for Fallout 76. He's invited by Bethesda to go check it out.
Yep.
They flew a bunch of Australian media content creators out there, and we got in pretty early and spent a day in Washington, D.C. Did a bunch of exploring. It sounds like you've not been there before, but that's basically like where the White House is, like a bunch of the monuments. There's a giant fucking
like
Abraham Lincoln statue from The Simpsons. You know that one?
Yeah, I do. That's the only cultural reference point, that and I guess Parks and Recreation, that I have for Washington, D.C. I've never... and I guess it gets blown up in Independence Day, but apart from that, like, I've got no connection to Washington, D.C. Was it boring as fuck? Because it seemed like it would be boring as fuck.
So we walked around, like, in that sort of where Washington, where like the White House is and the Washington Monument, and the I was nearly going to say Lincoln Park. The Lincoln statue is, it's sort of in like a T shape, and so we started off at the Lincoln statue and went inside there. A lot of people, pretty touristy,
sure,
as you'd expect.
Yeah,
took a bunch of photos, got right up there. And then we basically walked from there across the park. You go through like down near the War Memorial, which is at the end of that giant like fucking water area. I don't know what you call it.
Right.
Like
the National Mall or whatever the fuck they call it.
Yeah. And there's a memorial down there. And then you go a bit further, and that's where the monument is. So fucking the giant pole. Concrete pole that's in the sky. Fucking Spider-Man was swinging around it in his last movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there we went up to the White House, and had a look out front of there. Took some photos. Then went around the back of the White House, and there was a couple of more people around there. Took a couple more photos, and then from there we went to a bar, grabbed some lunch.
Nice.
Saw some FBI buildings. Like, it's a lot of government buildings in there. It's kind of like fucking Canberra, I guess, in a way.
Right. Yeah.
But with some big statues and shit.
Sure.
Very clean city, extremely clean. I've not been to a American city that was that clean.
Oh, okay.
It is insanely clean, which was surprising because my experiences in American cities have been pretty
pretty gross.
Pretty gross. But no, everyone was super cool. And then from that bar, we went to one of the museums, the big one. I can't remember what it's called. My brain is still a little bit mush, obviously, because I spent fucking 2 days in a plane.
Sure.
I was just going to look it up, but I can't even remember it. I think it started with an S.
I don't know.
Do you know it?
No.
It's pretty famous.
Pretty famous. I've got no idea.
Smithsonian.
Oh, the Smithsonian. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Maybe that one.
With all, like, the record, Fonzie's jacket and shit.
It's got the fucking
Declaration of Independence.
Space Museum.
Was Nicolas Cage there? Oh, you went to the aviation.
We went to the
version.
space one.
Right.
Yeah, and the
Is it
the
separate?
Air Force, like aircrafts. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 different museums over there.
It's a fucking franchise. It's like McDonald's.
Yeah, it's a franchise. But so we get there, and the fucking line is massive, and we're like, man, screw this. Like, let's not even bother. But we were sort of waiting for other people to come at that stage. Like, they were in a different Uber. Because it was like a 40-minute walk, and we were like, we don't really want to do that, so we'll just Uber it.
Sure.
And so we're waiting for them in line, and eventually it starts actually moving quite quickly. We get in there, and it's free. You don't actually have to pay.
Sweet.
Which was surprising. And then we spent a couple of hours walking around and looking at spaceship stuff and
cool
aircraft stuff, which is kind of cool.
What's that Fallout game that Bethesda are doing, the space one? Star.
You shouldn't be asking me questions like this. Starfield.
Okay.
Starfield. No, I do know what it is. I'm just saying my brain is a bit fucked. I don't know what's going on.
Starfield?
Right now. Starfield. Yeah.
And he's not allowed to talk about it because that's what he actually saw.
It's true.
That's what the purpose of the trip actually was, and he's been janking us about here, pretending it's about this Fallout 76 game, whatever the fuck that is. Anyway, so you went to the Smithsonian, went to the Space Museum.
Went to the Smithsonian, and then after that we went out to dinner and met up with the crew.
Did you meet
Rob Whittaker?
Hang on, did you meet Buzz Aldrin or anything?
No, he's not hanging out the front.
Why?
We've already met him before anyway.
Have we?
Yeah, he's been at a bunch of he was like a Halo event once, wasn't he?
I don't think so.
No?
I'm pretty sure not. No.
Was it the other guy?
Neil Armstrong?
No, it wasn't
I'm
him.
almost
Definitely
certain not. Like the third guy on the moon? There was the
I thought
third
it was
guy, right?
Buzz Aldrin.
Aldrin.
I'm pretty sure Buzz Aldrin came out here for a Halo event once.
Promo appearance in Australia on behalf of the upcoming release of Halo Reach. Oh shit, huh? I obviously didn't meet him.
You didn't meet him.
I didn't meet him, but I appreciate that you might have, and you didn't get to see him again, even though you guys are old friends.
We are old friends.
Yep. So anyway, then Rob Whittaker was at dinner.
Yeah, so
the
he's
middleweight champion of the UFC, the undisputed.
Yeah, he went along on this trip with us. He is the ambassador for Bethesda Australia,
right?
And he was along for this trip. So I got to meet him and hang out with him. This for him was kind of like a holiday.
Yeah,
he's got some fights coming up, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say who it is or if it's been announced, so I won't say it.
Oh.
But he's sort of treating that as a holiday, and sort of once he gets back, he's back into training and whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, man, like you sometimes you see obviously people that get into like promoting certain things, and they're there just because
They
they
get
like
paid.
money.
Yeah.
They're getting paid.
Yeah.
He was fucking genuinely like, he's a giant nerd.
Yeah.
He would not shut up. So about video games, we were there for 4 days. I think our group were together for about 4 days. He just wanted to talk about video games the entire fucking time. I feel like that him being in the UFC, he's probably training quite a lot. He said he trains, 6 hours a day fighting.
6 hours a day doesn't
done...
actually sound like that much.
Well, getting the fucking shit kicked out of you, people punching you, is probably...
But he's the champion?
Okay.
I don't know.
He's just kicking the shit out of
How much time would LeBron spend training? That's all I'm saying. The man spends $1 million a year on his body, apparently.
Yeah.
Robert Whittaker is spending 6 hours a day. What's that? Does that sound like the Mamba mentality, Luke?
It does, actually.
Does it? Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, I see LeBron posting a lot of NBA 2K videos.
I'm being faced here. It's true. He does love NBA 2K.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Maybe he's spending $1 million a year on his body in NBA 2K.
Yeah.
And that's why, and he's the greatest whale of all time, and that's why the microtransaction system has to stay, because they're making all this cash out of fucking LeBron.
From LeBron.
Yeah. Makes sense.
He's not actually paying them, he's paying himself to be the ambassador.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm the man. I've got this. And they're like, we could pay you for this. He's like, I will pay you for the privilege of having a 99.99 character from the fucking get-go.
Yeah.
Do you reckon if LeBron plays, create a character, he has to make a new character?
I don't think he does. I like every time I see him post videos, it's always him playing as the Lakers in quick play.
Right. Yeah, well, I get that, I guess. You don't need to experience the be a pro lifestyle if you do that all day, I suppose.
Maybe he plays like My GM or something. That's his jam.
Oh, he definitely does.
And he's just like, fucking hot dog prices, let's jack them up.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, yep, fire David Blatt. Oh, yep, fire. Fire.
That's all he does every day.
Oh, yep. I'm going to go into the fucking locker room in a towel. Yeah. Give Tristan Thompson way too much money. Yeah. He probably,
still funny.
rendered it out in My GM, and he's like, yeah, it'll work. Don't worry about it. I've seen this one play out.
See this happen. Good. I've won in 4 of these championships.
Yep. Anyway, so, yeah. Robert Whittaker loves it. How tall is he?
He's probably 6 foot. He's shorter than me.
Shorter than you?
Yeah, he's probably
fucking
5'11", 6 foot, but he's a fucking big dude. Like in terms of build, like a big solid guy.
Luke's playing the old "I'm so tall" card again.
I am not. I'm like 6'1".
Yeah.
We're not that much difference in terms of height.
Basketball 6'1". Why did you lead with a fucking? I'm taller than him then. If you're not that, see, you're so playing up your own height. It's classic.
Is that what you were asked? How big is he?
Yeah, and you said shorter than me.
Yeah, well, he is shorter than me. I was trying
by
to think about
a half inch or something.
All right, maybe 2.
That's what I'm saying. Classic Luke. Luke. After his old tricks.
But yeah, I feel like he doesn't get a chance to talk video games around his crew.
Right.
And this was his opportunity to just fucking geek out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was just him talking about video games for 4 days straight. And we got him to talk about UFC a little bit, but that was mainly when we get him to shut up to talk about video games.
Nice. What's his favourite game?
Yeah.
Fortnite?
No, he doesn't like Fortnite. He hates the building in Fortnite. He's into PUBG.
Right. It's a tragic thought.
He likes all the he loves RPGs. He was talking about all the lore in fucking World of Warcraft and Skyrim and Fallout. He loved the Forest. He played that recently.
Sick.
He plays a lot. When he dropped the Forest reference, I was like, oh, okay, fucking hell. And he talked about how crazy the ending of that game was and all this shit.
Nice.
Yeah, man, he's full on into it, everything.
Yep.
It sounds like, which is really cool. And yeah, definitely knew his shit. So that was awesome.
Does it make you wonder if you're sort of wasting your life a bit? Because he can be the middleweight champion and obsessed with video games. Meanwhile, you're just obsessed with video games.
Yeah.
And basketball.
and basketball. Exactly.
So you got that going for you, which is nice. Yeah, like, you guys besties now or what?
Yeah, man, we hung out quite a lot. He's a super nice guy. Yeah, his wife was there. He's got a bunch of kids. And it seems like he grew up with video games, so it's really cool that like Bethesda was able to get somebody that's that passionate about games. Just like because he's more than willing to talk about their products or games. Like that dude is obsessed with that. But yeah, man, we're besties. We hung out all weekend. I think he's trying to like he was sending us some messages before. He's trying to get everyone's gamer tags and Steam IDs so he can play games with us. I think he doesn't have people that's in his crew that he can play games with, so he's trying to get everybody that was there to play games with him.
Nice.
It's fucking hectic.
That's a little bit sad, actually, to think that people don't have people they can play games with. Yeah, you don't think that's sad? Like not like what a loser sad, just like a little bit of a downer. I think that the guy is like operating in circles that still don't understand how fucking ubiquitous video games are.
Yeah, and he was talking about how he didn't think his kids would ever like video games, and he's going to be stuck like with all these kids that won't play games with him.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're all besties now.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be part of his posse.
Sweet.
That's good.
Where'd you go to dinner in DC? Was it the fucking Ribs place from House of Cards, which is the only other?
No, it was just like an Irish pub.
DC. Right, and so you guys got drunk in DC for starting any fights with any Trump administration. Oh, start a fight with Brett Kavanaugh. That dude didn't fucking go. He loves his bar fights.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I heard that name a lot on Twitter over the last 3 days, and I just don't know what he's done.
Sexually assaulted people and then lied about it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a good thing.
No.
But we could have fought him if he wanted to.
Yeah, fuck yeah. You guys would have fucking wrecked him.
Yeah.
Like, when I say you guys, I am talking specifically about one of you, but,
You're one of us, yeah.
Yeah. Still, you would have won.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Overall. Yeah, cool.
Wouldn't be a fair fight. It'd be like a bunch of nerdy dudes standing around and be like, it's right. It's like that we got a Hulk moment. It's like we got a rob. We all step aside. He just comes running through.
Yeah. Here I go, fighting again. Yeah.
So from DC, then we went over to West Virginia. We got a private jet to an airport in West Virginia, and it's like a 50-minute plane.
Right.
So basically, by the time you take off and you get to your height, you're landing again.
Right.
Yeah, and then
what was the private plane situation like? Was it like slick, or was it just like some sort of chartered flight?
Yeah, it's just like chartered flight.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like
no, it was not like a
G6, like a G6.
What you're thinking about.
Yeah, right.
Not like a rap video.
Damn. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, but still cool.
Yep.
And so as we're on this plane, we're sort of looking up where we're staying, and it turns out that there's like the first thing you fucking look up, it's talking about how the place is just haunted.
Right.
And anyway, so like some people are starting to freak out and shit. Like at one stage, Rob's not too impressed because he doesn't. I think the quote was like he doesn't like things that he can't punch.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
So he was like, I don't like ghosts. Stop talking about him. And so we were getting each other like hyped up and freaked out. I think one of the articles is talking about how this ghost lady's head spins around and shit like that when she sees you.
Sick.
So it was good. It's good type of ghost stuff.
Yep.
So we get there, and the place is called the Greenboro, and it is this like enormous resort that it looks like a lot of rich people go to, and it's huge. It's fucking massive. There are just like golf courses surrounding it. It's on this like giant area of land where there's a bunch of activities you can go into, and the place is like just completely decked out in like weird fucking like wallpaper and carpet. Like every room you go into is just like this one's bright green and pink, and this one is like yellow and white. like that sort of stuff. It just looks off the chain, like expensive, everything.
Yeah.
And so we get there, and we're like checking in and whatnot. And me and one of the guys from Pedestrian, Matt, are sort of just standing there waiting for some of the others to come to finish over. And we're like looking through the map they've given us because the place is so big you need a map. And Pete Hines comes over and starts talking to us.
Yeah.
He was, I don't know if he recognizes from a month ago, but he's just come over and started talking. And we're like asking him about the place being haunted, and we're gonna go exploring. We're just waiting for a couple of people, and then we're gonna go look at like what we can find. And he's like, "Oh, you should go upstairs. There's this creepy fucking painting up there, like that looks really weird."
Sweet.
And so even he's like getting into it.
Yep.
And then we're like asking some of the staff that are around, like about the place being haunted, like which areas are like the places we should go visit. And one of the dudes was like, "Oh, they're all fucking haunted. It doesn't matter where you go. Like the whole place is fucked."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh, cool." So this like the whole like ghost being here is just like in everybody's head. And like eventually we're getting like people hearing things at night. I start really hamming it up by telling people that I'm hearing like noises in my closet. And because we've got this group chat going at this stage, and yeah, I'm hearing like noises in my closet. It's really fucking weird. And then the next day, I like take a photo of my shoe in the corner of the closet. I'm like, I think housekeeping is playing fucking tricks on me. Like, why is my shoe in the corner? And then finally, like the last day, I take a picture of me standing in the closet in the corner as a video, and then it cuts to like a jump scare.
Oh, nice.
That was like the payoff. That one.
The long con, good. Pretty good.
Yeah, the long con.
Yep.
But we had at one stage somebody ringing one of the girls' doorbells after we'd all left. And then a couple of days later, we found out it was one of our crew anyway. So she was freaked out about that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, just like the whole ghost story thing was a fun little thing to fuck around with people. That was cool. But the place is insane, man.
Yeah.
It's so big. Lots of cool stuff to do. We went... so that particular night, we all met up later on after we've had our showers and whatnot, and got on this bus, and they took us up this hill, and we get to the front of what is basically like a bunker, this giant fucking door, and we're standing there, and I don't know, there's probably like 30 of us there. It's like us, the Australians. The Australians, there's probably like 14 of us.
Yeah.
There's like Pete Hines and his wife. And then like a bunch of other European journalists sort of walk in, and they start doing tours. Because at this stage, we don't know what we're there for. They're just kind of like, "Oh, we're going for dinner. All right, fair enough." And this giant fucking door opens up. It is huge. It is maybe like four times as big as me, 5 times, like up to the wall, and it's like thick as fuck. Maybe 30 centimeters thick in terms of like maybe steel.
Yeah.
And anyway,
30.
it turns out
We're
going on this tour, and she starts talking about how this is like an underground fallout bunker.
Right.
And then finally it like clicks, like, oh, okay, fair enough, this is what we're doing. And they start taking us through like all the decontamination showers, and like through all the procedures they would do.
Did you get showered?
No. She said we could take our clothes off if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But nobody obliged to that.
I already did it. God damn it. That was your opportunity to get naked in front of everyone.
Yeah, could have been. Could be.
That would have been the really spooky thing.
Yeah.
And you could have shown a UFC champion your dick. So I feel like you really dropped the ball.
A lot.
Yeah. You could have dropped the ball. Puns. Anyway.
And then they show us this video about this quick 10-minute video about the area, and it turns out they built it in like the Cold War when nuclear bombs were kind of a thing that was happening.
Yeah. And
the idea behind it was that it was far enough outside of sort of Washington DC that they could quickly, if an attack did happen, they could quickly get everybody out of Congress and like all the presidential staff to this fallout bunker.
Right.
And it housed like 1,500 people. They basically like restocked all the food in there, like medical supplies, basically anything that you would need for people to survive. And they would do this like every couple of weeks, and it was running for about 30 years or so until the Washington Post basically outed this bunker because it was a secret. So they've built this secret bunker because they didn't want like people to find out about it, and then obviously like some sort of attack happened. So yeah, it went unknown for 30 years until the Washington Post made a story about it.
Right.
And then the facility was basically like shut down after that, and I guess they maybe moved it somewhere else. But anyway, so yeah, it was basically built underneath this giant resort, and it was set up so that like if something did happen, like all the staff could pretend that they were working at the hotel. There were like secret passages back to the hotel and all that sort of stuff. So
really?
It's a full-on huge deal. And yeah, super interesting to kind of find out about and that sort of stuff. So that was really really cool to experience. And then once all like the toury stuff sort of finished, they let us into another room, and they had this fucking Fallout 76 party going on. Everything was like decked out in Fallout 76 gear and balloons, bunch of like coin press machines that had memorabilia stuff in there.
Right.
They had like a Vault-Tec donut wall going. They had like a photo booth happening, and yeah, just a bunch of food and drinks for people to sort of mingle and celebrate the Reclamation Day of Fallout 76. So
right,
yeah, man, that was really cool. Like having a fucking a dinner and drinks in an underground bunker that was supposed to be used for the U.S. Congress.
Was it real food or was it Fallout food?
No, it was real food.
Got it.
You mean like space bag food and shit like that?
Yeah, like canned food and stuff. You know,
No,
like,
that seems like a missed opportunity, though.
yeah, that's why you got to have me on deck for these kinds of things. You know, when you're preparing such a thing, because we're going to go like way too far with it if I'm on board. We're going to go like everyone is getting naked, everyone's getting decontaminated. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care how many people you've knocked out. Yeah, you're taking your clothes off and you're getting in this fucking shower because we can't allow contaminants into the bunker, right? And then when we get in, canned beans, baby.
Canned beans for everybody and powdered milk.
That's it. Yeah, delicious. Yeah. So yes, a cool party. These coin pressing machines.
Yep.
What the fuck is that?
Right. Okay, so you haven't seen them. They had them at E3 as well. They're basically like you put a bunch of quarters into them, or whatever the American money is.
Right.
And there's a bunch of different designs, and it kind of stamps it into a coin.
I see. Did
So
they give you
grab
the
this
coins,
giant wheel and you sort of
did you have
spin
to
it
bring your
around?
own coins?
I think you have to bring... Like, I feel like it's something that they're doing at conventions and whatnot. Like, this machine is just sitting there.
Right.
But they had coins already. Like, a bucket of coins.
How many coins did you steal?
All of them. No. They're like
If you'd run off with the
coins.
bucket, how much do you think you would have gotten away with?
It's $2.50? I don't know. They're like 1 cent coins. So
But $2.50 American, so...
yeah, $2. That's a lot. I opened my own hotel. I opened my own bunker.
Yeah, it's Skelter. Alright, cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. They did like a countdown at one stage, which we didn't really know what was going on, and they just played the West Virginia song.
Oh.
There was a running joke about every time they play that song, we should all have a shot.
Oh, yeah.
And I only heard it once that weekend.
Oh,
so
really? Wow.
That was interesting. Yeah.
The estate of John fucking Denver must only ponied up a little bit of money for that one.
Yeah. But anyway, that was kind of cool.
Hang on,
Like,
did I talk about that? Did I talk about that on the podcast? About
one?
how the reason you keep hearing that fucking song everywhere is because the estate of John Denver, like,
just recently
hired a marketing company to do it so that they could like ramp up the value of his estate, which is pretty pretty interesting, I think. Like, not terribly interesting, but mildly so. Yeah. Like the party. When you say party, if it was like 13 Australians and a bunch of Germans, was it much of a party, or like?
No. When they did the tours, they split them up. So when I mean that there was the Australians there, like we were the first bus to kind of come through, and they kept shuttling the rest of the crews through. So I think it was primarily Australians and Europeans doing these days, and then like NA was. I think NA's doing there at the moment.
Right.
But it was like 60, 70 people. Maybe.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe more. Decent amount. Pete Hines did a presentation. He talked about a few things. I don't think I could talk about that stuff yet, but
okay.
He sort of just introduced everybody, said some stuff. And we had that cool party. But it's basically been turned into like a data storage facility now.
What, like Stone Mountain in Mr. Robot?
Where like there's, I guess they've got servers or something in there that somebody owns, or I'm not too sure. Right. But they still do these tours through them, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, okay.
I can say that I've been into an underground nuclear shelter.
I can say the same, but for different reasons.
Why is that?
I was kidnapped as a child.
Okay.
But I was let go and they realised I had the wrong twin, so it didn't really matter.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so when did you get to play the game?
So that was the next day.
Alright.
So, nobody, like, Pete was like, hey, don't go too hard because you're actually working tomorrow.
Right.
And we're like, shut up, Pete. You know what doing.
Don't tell me how to do my fucking job, Pete.
Yeah. Uncle Pete.
I don't come over there and tell you how to sell fucking video games, do I, motherfucker? So don't tell me how to get drunk and then do work while drunk.
Yeah. It was good.
Sweet.
So, the next day was kind of like getting some hands-on with the game and interviews and whatnot, which I can talk about next week, because that is still under embargo. But I'm sure everyone will be interested. And then what else happened? We went out for dinner later that night, which was at the resort. They had, I guess the resort has an owl or something. They brought this fucking owl out at one stage.
An owl? A bird of the night?
Yeah, an owl.
An owl. And they have a pet owl that came out to be your friend.
I don't know.
You're staying at fucking Hogwarts and shit.
It was pretty nuts. I don't know, like, if it's like a pet owl.
How do you not know this? How did you not have a billion fucking questions? Why do they have an owl?
She said it was a rescue owl.
Why does the hotel have it?
I don't know.
Why do you not know?
I came over way too late. Here, I just sent you a photo of it. Anyway, there's an owl. There's a video as well. I'm sure if you listen to that, it'll come through. But basically, they had an owl there. They had, like, axe throwing. I think these were just activities part of the resort people like to go and do. There was axe throwing. I didn't throw any axes, but...
You didn't throw any axes?
Yeah, I got a shit shoulder. I can't do that sort of stuff.
Throw it with your other hand.
They're both shit.
That fucking owl looks pissed off that you're taking photos of it. That's what's happening. It looks
kept posing
grumpy.
and shit?
No, it's not posing. That owl is like, what the fuck are you looking at, mate?
I think that's just how all owls look.
I don't think so. Some of them are pretty slick. Okay, so axe throwing. What else did you get up to?
That was it, but it wasn't too long. Like, I'm pretty sure it was just part of there was just shit happening at this hotel, and axe throwing just happened to be next to where we were, so we went over and threw some axes. And this owl came out at one stage. I don't know, weird party.
This sounds like Harry Potter.
Axe
throwing, owls. I mean,
this is after the leaked Harry Potter footage, which we didn't put in the news.
In the news, we didn't put in the news, even though it's good. We'll remember talk about that because I thought it was
doing that now.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Cool.
So that was basically it for that day, and then we flew out. After that night we flew out.
You did work. You did work, right?
And that's when I got back. 36 hours later.
That's bananas. What'd you watch on the plane? Did you watch the Meg?
No, they didn't have the Meg. I watched.
They
Maniac.
didn't have the Meg.
No. Isn't that just come out on like cinema?
Oh yeah, it'd be impossible to watch if it's only just out in cinema.
Yeah.
Yep, true.
I watched Maniac.
Maniac. That's the Emma Stone, Jonah Hill thing, right?
Yeah.
Skinny Jonah Hill.
Yep.
He's more like Jonah Plain. Because he's not, a hill is rounded, but a plane is flat, you see. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm still here, yeah.
Well, yeah, what'd you think of that? Is it worth watching or what?
No.
Excellent. Good, I'm glad I didn't start it.
Don't worry about that one. Yeah, man, it's just like a bunch of weird shit and doesn't pay off.
Yeah.
So I would skip that one.
Have you watched The Good Place?
The Good Place?
Yeah, with like
Is that a movie?
Kirsten Bell and Ted Danson? No, it's a TV show.
No.
How have you not watched it? You should watch it. 3rd season's out. And that is actually a really good one to watch on a plane, the first 2 seasons. Because, like, it has cliffhangers at the end of every fucking ep.
Okay.
So if you binge watch it, you don't have to fucking wait an entire week to find out how this cliff is going to hang.
Yeah. Is it a comedy?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Right, okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Fargo, I watched season 3 of Fargo.
Oh, yeah.
Of it.
Yeah, right.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sure.
All of the Fargos are good. And then, what else did I watch? Nocturnal Animals on the plane.
Oh, yeah. Which is rewatching.
Yeah, rewatched that. And I watched 1, 2, maybe 3 episodes of Star Trek Discovery.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That takes more than 3 episodes to get into. Takes
really?
like 6 episodes or something.
Yeah, it's like the first one. Yeah, is it like? I thought it was episodic. It's not. Is it like self-contained stories or something for a season?
It's got arcs. Yeah, I think they're pushing towards the more traditional Monster of the Week style, but
well, traditional Star Trek, where like every episode is a self-contained story.
That's what I mean by Monster of the Week, right?
Yeah, and then like every couple of episodes, it's like this one's a 2-parter. But the 3 that I sort of watched seem like
they're
all joined together.
It's arcs, yeah. So that's in TV terms, yeah. We've got arcs, right, where they tell a big story over a big arc, right? Like say, let's take Supernatural for example, or the X-Files. The X-Files is better because people will actually watch that. The X-Files.
I watched Supernatural.
You've got the episodes where they're looking into aliens and the disappearance of Mulder's sister. Yeah? Those are arcs. That's the arc story. And then you've got other stories where they're investigating some slime monster that lives in the sewer, and that is a Monster of the Week. And Star Trek is Monster of the Weeks with the like broadest sense of arcs. And Discovery is basically all arcs. If you want one that's more like traditional Star Trek, what's it called? The Orville.
Yeah, the comedy.
It's not a comedy. It's literally just traditional fucking Star Trek, but it's got what's-his-face at the helm. And once he stops, like, after you push past the point where he's, like, yucking it up like he's on the fucking Family Guy, and he starts to take the whole thing a bit more seriously, it's actually pretty good. Like, it's a pretty good Star Trek. It's a better Star Trek replacement than Discovery, I think.
Yeah, that's Seth MacFarlane's space show.
Yeah. And it's definitely not Family Guy in space, which is what I thought it was going to be when I got into it. And then I was like, this isn't great.
Yeah.
But if you, like, once you, like, reframe it in your mind as to not Family Guy in space and instead as a Star Trek type, it's pretty good. It's a bit cheesy at times, but it's pretty good. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so that was it. Like, yeah, like we on the last day, we also just kind of walked around the resort. They had there's like 3 pools there. We went and explored all the rooms. There's a fucking casino in the hotel, ginormous casino. There is golf courses. There's a church. Half a dozen, maybe more, maybe a dozen shops inside the place. It's pretty hectic.
Jesus,
pretty good. Interesting place to stay, but had fun.
Yep.
Had fun. So yeah, I'll talk about the game next week. We'll dive into that a bit more.
Cool.
But yeah, that's about it. Any questions about anything other than the game?
I've asked all the questions that I have while you were trying to talk about things, so I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like it was a pretty good trip. I saw photos on your Instagram and stuff. It looked like you're having fun and stuff. So that's cool. But
the photos you saw, probably the late night ones, are the ones we had a lot of fun. We were pretty loose.
Yep.
That last night where we didn't have to do any more work.
Were you able to outdrink Robert Whittaker? I presume you were able to outdrink literally everyone else there, but
yeah. I don't want to say how much he had to drink, but he did. He held up pretty well.
Yeah.
That first night. The second night, I can't comment. I was fucked that second night.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. I've got some videos.
Solid.
Anyway.
Yeah, cool. Sweet. I had a good weekend as well. Thanks for asking. I went camping.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I played some games there. I didn't write them on the list, but I'll talk about them now.
Cool.
We can segue straight into it. I went camping, pretty close to here, eh? Like, it was 90 minutes at 5 p.m. on a Friday to get there, which means it's probably like a 4-minute walk from here.
From traffic, traffic.
No, it's the Colo River up in like Hawkesbury area, and yeah, we're in a campsite that I think is a glamp site. You know, glamour camping, where people go camping, but they don't really want to do any camping. At one point while we were camping, an old couple were walking around. There's like this attitude, I think, that people have that, like, because you're camping, personal space is no longer a thing and you can just walk around wherever the fuck you want. But I don't really subscribe to that attitude. These two people did, and they walked up and we were cooking campfire chili. And they came up and they're like, "Oh my god, are you actually cooking on a fire?" Because the campsite we were at had on site, it had like a restaurant and stuff. It was pretty weird. We were just camping on a golf course. No, it was clearly set up for people who weren't like crazy about camping but wanted to say that they'd been. And we were in it for the fucking authentic experience. We were there for the fucking whole bit. We came prepared, right? Like, we brought our own wood and shit. Anyway, they're like, "Oh, yeah, no, we didn't even bring any cooking utensils."
Did you guys poop in the 9th hole?
It wasn't me. No, it was Gopher holes. They're all over this place. Yeah, so these people were like shocked that we were cooking on a campfire. And I would say there were like 30 other sites taken up, like at the place, at the campsite. So each site is a group of people. We fit 2 tents on one site, even though technically we had 2. Technically we had 2 sites thanks to a booking error, which was pretty good because it meant nobody parked up in our shit. So we've got 2 tents on that one site. I'd say, most people were in caravans. I think there was like 5 other tents. We were it was me and my wife and another couple. And both couples were in tents on our site, but the rest of it was pretty much all caravans. And it it got pretty cold. It got down to like 2 degrees. At one point, we were real close to the river, so it was a bit colder than the like regular temperature. Because the closer to the river you are, the colder it tends to get. And yeah, the caravan right next to us had a fucking generator and a heater going all night, and it was the most obnoxious thing I've ever experienced in my entire fucking life. Like, how the fuck are you going to roll up with fucking a heater? Just you're camping, you fuck. Like, you're already in a goddamn caravan. You're already cheating at this camping shit, motherfucker. Like, come on.
Why not just go park in the fucking driveway?
Right? Why even come out? Why just go fucking get a hotel room? Fuck's sake. But yeah, so yeah, that was pretty obnoxious. But yeah, no, we can't. It was good. We were just getting. We discovered. Traditionally, when I go camping, I take a couple of cartons of beer, and I just smash those over the course of the weekends because you don't really have to go anywhere, and like you're not driving anywhere, so you can sort of get drunk, and it makes getting into really cold rivers a bit easier. Yeah, we revolutionised things. I think we went with spirits. Spirits while camping, genius. You don't have to restrict, like sequester away an entire esky and ice just for your beers. Yeah. Yeah, you can just if you just concentrate on spirits that don't need to be frozen, you can just go with like fucking rums and stuff. Get a bit of juice up in there. You're camping, so you want a bit more like booze than normal, so you save on the mixes. Good stuff. It was good.
Get some, what are they called? Like whiskey rocks.
Whiskey rocks. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've got them. Yeah, that's good thinking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're doing spirits, and, you know, and the other good thing about camping is, you know, you start drinking at lunchtime, and by the time 10 o'clock rolls around, you're fucking toasted. You're done. You're ended, mate. Like, it's over for you. So it doesn't like you can go to bed and everything's all good, and that's generally when everyone goes to bed when camping because you wake up at fucking the crack of dawn anyway. I was actually the first person up out of the entire campsite every single day we were there, and I don't know why it was, but I think it was like I just there's something about sleeping in a tent that I'm cool with. Until I wake up, at which point I'm like, why am I doing this? Just why don't I just go sit in a fucking chair? It'll be just as fucking comfortable as lying on this fucking on the ground. So yeah, then I get up. Yeah. Anyway, so we played 2 games. We played Coup, which I talked about the other week. I went and bought a copy as soon as I got back from Melbourne. This is the one I was playing at MEO in a board game pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the bluffing game where you've got 2 cards and you're trying to stay alive. That was a fucking huge hit. What I wanted, because my wife's side isn't fantastic and lighting isn't great while camping. So what I wanted was stuff that you could get away with, like not needing fine detail, right? So Coup's awesome for that because each card that you play is a like specific color and broadly a different shape, so you can tell when it gets pretty dark. You can tell what the fuck you're playing and what people are playing and what's in the deck and stuff like that, which is good. And the other thing we played was Sushi Go. Have you played Sushi Go?
No.
It's pretty it's surprisingly popular. Like heaps of people I've talked to, having gotten it, right, seem to know about it. I'd never played it either. It's this sort of like a, I guess, building game, like a card building game where you're trying, you pick a card out and then you pass your hand across to the next person, and it sort of plays out based on points.
Yeah.
Which makes it not ideal for camping, but pretty good. So the problem I had, you get points based on the sushi you get out of the deck, but like certain sushi only works if you combine it with other sushi. And so you're trying to combine certain sushis, and you're trying to like stop other people from combining. And it's sort of like there's this strategy involved. It's like simple but like fun. And games are over real quick. And again, the iconography is really like obvious. The cards are specific colors, so you can tell pretty easily what you've got and what's going on. Just like super fun and quick. And so yeah, eventually games can like churn through pretty fucking quick. You can get through a game like, and a game is like 3 rounds, but you can get through one game in like sub 10 minutes. The only problem is that it involves adding up points to see who won, and that's a bit of a pain while camping because
when you don't bring a pen and paper.
Low like score taking is a bit lame. So either you do it on pen and paper, which tends to suck in low light situations, or you do it on a phone, which can be challenging if you're running out of battery. And the other thing is, once you get drunk enough, score keeping in general is pretty difficult. Well, the adding up is complicated. So yeah, like both awesome games though, and yeah, both really good camping games. So I feel like I struck gold with those picks. Good stuff. Campfire Chili, dude. Holy shit, I nailed it my first try. While we're... So I was busy doing work on... I think it was Thursday night. Oh yeah, I was busy, being on the BBC on Thursday night. And
That's right.
yeah. And my wife was like, oh yeah, we're going to go, like me and the other people, we're going to go buy stuff. For camping, buy food, buy all the food. So we've got a meal plan. So we'll just buy stuff for this meal plan. I'm like, cool. They didn't show me the meal plan or anything like that. They didn't take any input as to what they would need. So as we're like driving out, my wife's like, yeah. So the second night we're going to make campfire chili, or you're going to make campfire chili. You just make your chili, but on a campfire. I'm like, okay, cool. What did you buy for me to make that? She's like, well, we got some steak, and we got some mince, and I got 2 cans of tomatoes, and 2 cans of beans. I'm like, and chilies, I assume. She's like, oh, no, I didn't buy any chilies. I'm like, what? How are we going to have campfire chili without chilies? She's like, well, I didn't want it to be too spicy. I'm like, it's not going to be spicy at all. It's going to be a fucking bolognese sauce. So we stopped. We had to stop anyway to pick up some
arrows,
some firelighters. Well,
some ghost chili.
The bomb shit. I'm gonna fucking blow these motherfuckers up.
Yeah, I'm gonna make them wish they were eating something.
Well, yeah, we went into
18 rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah, all the toilet paper you can carry. We had to stop and pick up firewood and ice. And so I stopped at a convenience store and managed to get, like, this. It was an Indian run convenience store. So, very helpfully, they had chilies that they'd grown out of their own backyard that they were selling. So I bought a fucking bunch of them and some packets of taco seasoning. So they didn't buy any other of the spices that you need to make chili, like paprika, cumin, cayenne pepper, salt, pepper. None of that shit. They had none. So, yeah. I just bought 2 packets of taco seasoning because I'm like, I'll just fucking cheat. It's campfire. Who gives a fuck? And yeah, like literally campfire chili, you get a camp oven. You do need a camp oven, which is the only tricky bits, but you should have a camp oven anyway. And you literally, you put a kilo of meat in, 2 cans of tomatoes, 2 cans of beans, taco packets, and I chopped up all the chilies. I didn't de-seed any of them because I couldn't be fucked. I was pretty drunk, and de-seeding them like they're little bird's eyes. De-seeding them seemed like it was probably more risky than leaving them in. And then you whack it on the fucking fire.
Do you de-seed them?
Usually, yeah. My wife
Why?
is very much not a. She doesn't have. Yeah, she doesn't like the chili. So yeah.
You know what you do?
What?
You slowly just put it in everything. That's what I did.
Dude, I have like got her. She puts pepper in stuff now. I have over the course of 10 years taken her. She used to never eat capsicums. That was too spicy. Now she'll eat capsicums. She eats pepper.
It's not spicy.
I don't know. I don't have answers to these things. Yeah, I got nothing on that one. But yeah, I've slowly weaned her onto spicy stuff. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, let it go for like we put it on. I think at 2:00, and we had dinner at 7. It was fucking perfect. It was so fucking good. It was the best. Yeah, you just have to keep the fire going, basically.
Yeah, right.
And you don't want it on direct heat. You have it like sitting next to the fire, but as long as it's getting heat, it's fucking awesome. So good. Yeah, that was my biggest achievement. But yes, I was on the BBC.
Yeah, this is weird.
It was weird. Yeah. I got a message. This was a day when it seemed like heaps of people were going on the BBC. I don't know why they chose Australian game shows, but
yeah, it's because someone asked me, "Oh, it's because the time zone difference." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's because you were on at a time where it was like 11 o'clock in the UK."
Yeah, it would have been
11 a.m. Which didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was odd. I guess they just like the accent. Although, that doesn't make sense because Steve writes Canadian. So Steve from Survivor, he did a bit. And Shannon from Press Start did a chunk as well. And then they hit up Steve Farrelly from OzGamers. And Farrelly didn't want to do it because he felt like he didn't know enough about the topic. But he nominated me to do it instead. I'm like, yeah, sure. And so the topic was Sony is allowing crossplay, or is implementing crossplay for Fortnite.
Yep.
And, you know, they were just going to ask questions based.
Yeah.
I did not go as ham on Sony as I did on the podcast. Because obviously I was pretty acerbic on the podcast. I kept it a little bit more tame, I guess. You should have seen the fucking emails the producers were sending me. They're like, just to be clear, this is live. I got this is live in an email like 6 times until I specifically replied with, what did I say? I said like,
yeah, but you could edit it out, right?
I should have. No, what was it? Hang on. Here we go. It was like the last one. Note, please, it's a live interview. We are a major global TV channel seen in over 200 countries. And I reply with, loud and clear, I've watched the BBC World News, lol. Yeah, and they stopped reminding me that it was live, which is pretty good. Yeah, they said my name correctly, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
and yeah, so they're basically asking, you know, stuff about the crossplay thing and Fortnite, and I was, you know, I'm able to adjust to the audience, so I recognised that what I was trying to do was make sure people recognised gaming as a positive thing, so I didn't voice my my opinions on Fortnite. Instead, I voiced my opinions on how I feel Fortnite is shaping the landscape for video games, and yeah, and so yeah, it was generally positive.
Sony's are a bunch of cunts.
And I didn't even say that. I did say it was about time, and And I mentioned how I hoped that they were going to do it for like all the other big games that are coming out, and I name dropped some games, although it hasn't really paid off yet. I would have thought that, you know, pimping out their games and get me some free stuff, but nothing. What's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point? Oh yeah, journalistic integrity. But apart from that, what's the point?
Where are my free T-shirts at?
Where are my free goddamn T-shirts? Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. It was weird. It was like 4 minutes, and it felt nerve-wracking the entire time. The highlight of it, obviously, was sneaking the Jesus picture into the shots.
Yeah.
And the low light was finding out that the framing of my widescreen webcam allowed people to see a lot more of my office than I thought in the first place, which, yeah, wasn't intended.
How did that work? Because you tested it beforehand, right?
Yeah, and the test on Skype only shows you a, like, square.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, and they, like, and on their end, they didn't say anything about all the other shit, so cool.
You didn't have your wife stumble halfway in, like, bashing pots and pans or something?
Definitely should have. I wish I had. That was my opportunity to go viral. Yeah. Anyway,
I have like an R2-D2, one of those robots sort of just busts on her, and you're like, "Fucking R2, what are you doing?"
Take these droids back to the shop. Yeah. Anyway, it was interesting. She shit talked me after they cut me off. I was like, Fortnite's a great social experience, and she's like, I've played like after I got cut off. She's like, yes, well, I've actually played Fortnite. I lasted about 37 seconds, and then I was murdered. I didn't find it to be a very social experience. I'm like, how the fuck are you going to do this to me? How are you going to play me like this, you fucking New Zealand lady? Anyway,
was she New Zealand?
She was.
Well, she was British. I don't remember.
No, I think that's just people have what's it called, broadcast English.
Right.
But all news readers speak in that broadcast English, especially on the Beeb.
Did she like cut the news segment? She's like, "Hey, bro.
Oh, hey, bro. Yeah, that's
chips.
That's mad as. That's mean as, mate. Yeah. Got any chops? Yeah. Anyway, it was interesting. I'd do it again, but
were you the last one?
I was,
because
yes.
I got a flight shortly after that day. Is that it?
That was it.
You fucked it for everyone?
I finished it off. I think I was the only one they tweeted out a clip of, so that's pretty good.
So your Jesus picture's in there then, right?
Yes, of course. And speaking of tweets, I got banned from Forza Horizon 4. Well, I got banned from the
for your free candy.
Yep.
Are you fucking for real?
I'm dead serious. I got a 3-day ban for free candy on the Forza Horizon 4 sharing the livery store or whatever the fuck it is. I made a fuck ton of in-game money, and then I got banned. So I had two variants up because there were 2 transit vans in the game, and I made a shit ton of money out of it. But then I got the ban, so for inappropriate content. But yeah,
are you supposed to charge for candy or something?
Yeah. Expensive candy.
Definitely not free candy.
The candy isn't free. What you buy is you buy something separate, and then you get the candy as a bonus edition, which is...
What if you changed it to like free Bitcoin or something like that?
That would have been better. But I got banned, so...
This is the van that you did up that you were talking about last week, and I said you should make this a GIF or put it on Reddit.
Yeah.
So instead of getting a bunch of karma, you got banned.
Yeah. Well, I did get a lot of retweets as well.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of retweets. I had to mute the link. I had to mute that fucking post so I could stop seeing it. Because I found it again. 216 retweets and 1,200 likes. I think it's Danny O'Dwyer's fault. He retweeted it, and yeah. And then I got a lot of comments asking if I had to look this up. If I was either pretending I was the Carboys or paying tribute to the Carboys. And Carboys is who are those dudes who started up? Was it Polygon? You know, the brothers McElroys?
McElroy.
I don't know. Griffin and Justin.
Yeah.
You know the ones I'm talking about?
McElroy. Yeah.
Yeah. They had I think a YouTube series where they played car games, and it had some sort of weird story. I've never watched any of it. But yeah, at one point they did an episode where they used Claire de Lune to for some sort of gag, and yeah, because my Twitter video has Claire de Lune in it. Apparently that is what made me pretending to be the Carboys, I guess. Even though the reason Claire de Lune is in the video is because it was the next song on the radio in game. And that's it. But anyway. Yeah, I didn't have any control over the songs. Just the car. Just the free candy van. Yeah, it's pretty funny that you get banned for it. It seemed like it went pretty well for them, though. Have you watched the video?
Yes, I did. Can you... So would they ban you from playing it, or...
No, just from submitting to the store, and my designs got removed.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I already made a fuck ton of money, so it didn't really matter. I was actually thinking of removing it from the store after people pointed out that, I don't know. I didn't want people to... I didn't want to get gunned down. I made this joke on Facebook already, but guns down. James gunned down. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like making jokes about pedophiles and then somehow finding myself fired from a job.
People are too fucking tight.
Right? But yeah. Anyway.
That's something that, when we're overseas, all the Australians were having a lot of issues with their humour, and people not understanding sarcasm and shit like that. The Australian humour is very different.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty different. That's why.
Yeah, I've got some stories which I'll tell you about later.
All right. Nice. All right, cool. So that's that then, I guess.
Right. Any more on Forza Horizon? Did you play any more?
I've played it a bit, but I've mostly just been checking in on whether or not that ban lifted. I figured it'd only be a couple of days.
Yeah.
I jump in and I tool around, but it's I don't know. It's captured me, but I've been too busy to really do anything with it. Obviously, being away camping, I probably would have spent all weekend playing it, to be honest. But for the camping, and then since then, I have been just fucking swamped. I spent all day playing another game that we'll talk about in a second. And yeah, so it's weird. We were talking about it on the Discord channel, though. It fucking alt tabs like a dream. It's actually really good for that. It's one of my favorite things about it, because I can jump in and jump out real fucking quick. No fuck abouts. It doesn't really matter. So I can knock out a race during a work day. So I had a couple of games yesterday just to sort of break up the heavy workload that I had, and it's really good for that. But apart from that, yeah, it hasn't really captured me all that much. I think maybe I don't really like the cars, or I haven't found a car that I really like. That's what it is. I haven't found a car I really like, and I think you always need that one car that you absolutely love more than anything, that you can just sort of fuck about in and then you can find other cars that you can aspirationally, that you can aspire towards. that's I think the draw of those games for me, of car collection games, is collecting that one car that starts off the collection. You know.
Yeah, it's just you spent fucking $500,000 on this van.
$250,000, but yes, yeah. I did spend a fuck ton of money, but I made a fuck. I reckon I made. I didn't add it all up, but I'm pretty close to making back the money I spent on that van in sales of that free candy shit. And you do not get a lot of money for sharing a thing. I think it's like 100 per share of a thing. 100 or 1,000? 100 or 1,000 per share. No, it must be 100. And you get 200 if it's liked.
Yeah.
And I was making, I'd say, every 10 shares, I was making maybe 1,500. And, yeah. That was enough to get me near, just shy $250,000, I reckon, for sure.
And did you lose the van?
No, I keep the van, but yeah, the library's gone.
Okay, but the decal's still there.
No, the decal's gone. It's just a blank van. Yeah.
Right.
Blank van now.
Okay.
So now the kids don't even know what to avoid.
Yeah.
I could just be a fucking plumber. Yeah, exactly. Fuck. Yeah. I assume the rest of them also got it deleted from their accounts or whatever. Yeah, no biggie. No skin off my nose. Yeah, I just need to find that one car. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Probably a BMW. Because, I don't want a supercar. I already got a fucking Koenigsegg or whatever the fuck. Koenigsegg Agera, I think.
Yeah.
I actually made a shit ton of money playing the auction house, World of Warcraft style. I bought a Koenigsegg super cheap. It was like 200 grand, and I sold it for 450. So that was pretty good. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, Forza. It just hasn't captured my attention, but I'm 100% certain it will once I find that perfect game, perfect car rather. What else we got? Battlerite Royale. Played a bit more of this. I was playing with Junglist.
Yep.
I finally got him into the game. He loves it. He has played so fucking much of it. But yeah, I think yesterday he messaged me. He's like, "Yeah, I can't get any games today. I think it's dead." Even as it was, we couldn't play duos together. There was we waited 25 minutes and we didn't get in a game.
Yeah.
So we wound up just solo queuing and seeing who could go up against who.
Is this region based?
Yeah. And we only actually got one game where we got solo in the same game, and then every single other time it must have fucking skill based matchmaking, which is absolutely fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could not for the life of us get into a game at the same time after that one, and it's because he's a higher rank than me. Because he's played so much more of the game than me. So yeah, I'm gold and he's platinum, and yeah, we could not at all get in the same game, which is annoying. In the one game that we did get in together, we didn't actually meet, which was a bummer. But I came 7th and he came 6th, and yeah, I think even if the game wasn't dead, I'd probably be done with it, short of literally playing duos with Jung, because I feel like it's too heavily weighted into not taking fights, and the failure for people to realize that they need to team up against certain other people, that failure in strategic thinking from some people. I just want to fight 1-on-1. And I will continue to press a 1-on-1 at all costs, even when other people show up. It's so detrimental to the overall game. I just have no fucking patience for it. Because I don't pick heroes that can, blast. I don't think there is the way Battlerite works, I don't think there is a champion that can knock someone out in, the space of a blink. But Yeah, like, so every time you get into a battle, I was saying this last week, but every time you get into a battle, you're basically praying that nobody else shows up. Because if somebody else shows up to the fight, your only option is to stop fighting the other person and to start fighting the new person, the latest person. If you don't start fighting the newest person, you are guaranteed to lose, because the health difference, if you're both at half health or lower, you might not even beat the other person. You probably should, but you might not. And yeah, like the health deficit is basically impossible to overcome in Battlerite. And so yeah, I feel like the game doesn't do a good job at giving you the option, like, yeah, basically whoever comes into a fight third will win it, unless someone comes into a fight fourth.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It genuinely sucks to lose that way, because you just need the other person to fucking help, and then you can finish off your stupid fucking fight afterwards. And whoever the third person decides to focus on, they might die anyway. But if you both continue to focus on each other, if 1 and 2 continue to fight 1 and 2, instead of both fighting 3 will guaranteed kill both of you.
Yep.
I don't know. That is literally how every fucking game plays out. And the other thing is that because of the way skills can be leveled up or can be improved, and because of the RNG in the drops, you are like, taking fights is the best way to increase your skills, like to improve your skills, because either you get gold, or which you can trade for like legendary level skills, or the person you're fighting will have legendary skills. So from the get-go, you're incentivized to take fights, but fundamentally, taking a fight is a terrible idea unless you are certain you're alone. And it doesn't happen in other Battle Royale games, because the time to kill is relatively short. Like, especially compared to Battlerite, it's relatively short. I think it's actually pretty fun to watch, but you do know at the end of the day, whoever comes into a fight third will win.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm done with that. And the only other game on the list is Drunkn Bar Fight. I got this game. It was on sale on Steam, and I just replugged in my VR, my Vive, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll see if I've set it all up right. And so Drunkn Bar Fight is you spawn in a bar, and you start fights with people.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. That's about it. You can pick up stools. You can pick up basically anything around the bar and hit people with it. You can, like, throw people through windows. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, this is an old one. I've seen videos of this a while back from the guys that make the VR comedy channel.
Right.
They just do VR games and just do stupid shit. I've seen, like, there's different venues you can go to, right?
Is there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like a upstairs roof party or some shit like that as well, I've seen.
Oh, okay. I obviously didn't work that out. But yeah. It's pretty cool. It's dumb. And I don't think it's like, I think Gorn might be a better I guess execution of the exact same concept minus the bar setting, because Gorn is the game where you're like gladiator, and it's comically gory as you like chop people up and shit, and it's all melee combat and stuff. This is very similar in execution, but I think Gorn might be a bit better. They're both comedy melee games, I guess, right?
Yep.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Cool.
Cool. And that's it.
That's not it.
Oh, that's not it.
You're teasing us.
Ah, classic. Classic. Yeah, it's not it. I went in on Tuesday. I went into Rockstar's offices in Sydney, and I played Red Dead Redemption 2 from the very beginning.
Yep.
And I believe I was the only person in Australia who got the opportunity to do this, which is pretty exciting. I wrote it up on Red Bull, and you can read it. And at the very least, I'd love it if you went and clicked on it. But yeah, you should read it. I think I'll weave a pretty good tale. But yeah, so the story I'm telling in my Red Bull piece is about how what I wanted to do was go fishing, and how fundamentally I was unable to make it happen. And I want to clarify. I was toying with actually writing this in the piece itself, but I figured I'd leave it out. But for listeners, that is literally what happened. That is an actual recount of what happened. As the session ended, with we were literally done, and I'm like, that's it. I'm not going to get to fish. I'm mildly gutted.
Yeah.
As it ended, I splashed up out of a fucking waterfall that I'd thrown myself off, and there was a guy fishing. It was so staggeringly coincidental that I actually thought, part of my mind was sitting there going, did Rockstar somehow set this up to happen? And then, I played it back. I've actually thought about this a lot. This idea that Rockstar somehow fucking set it up so that I would somehow land at this dude's feet with the fishing rod that I've been searching for the entire time. And so many fucking things would have happened. They would have had to construct so many separate coincidences for this to happen that it could not possibly be the case. And yet, maybe they did? I don't know. Maybe I've been played like a fucking fiddle. Maybe I've been fucking incepted like the fucking... Cillian Murphy is, just sleeping about on fucking planes and shit. Good God. I cannot fucking get this idea. The biggest inception, right? The biggest problem I'm having is recounting this idea that perhaps Rockstar set this up. Because, I'm just trying, that Darren Brown dude, the dude who's, all about the power inception, of suggestion, and he,
Yep.
suggests to people that all this stupid shit or whatever, yeah. He's a hypnotist or whatever. I'm wondering if they use some Darren Brown shit to make me want to go fish or whatever the fuck. Maybe before we went and got coffee before the play session began, and while I was setting up the dev machine so that I could play it. And maybe during one of our conversations, one of the Rockstar guys mentioned fishing or something, and that's what got me wanting to go fishing or something like that, right? And then they knew that I wouldn't be out, and then they're like, oh yeah, he's accepted the fishing. Switch to no fishing rod mode, and then somehow the dev machine that doesn't have the fishing rod that I'm after or something like that. Loony shit. I've gone way off the deep end on this fishing concept, this incepted fishing concept. But yeah, seriously, it was not artistic license. I landed and there was the fishing rod that I'd been searching my entire fucking 6-hour session for. It was staggering. Fishing's good fun too. I caught a massive fish. It's not that difficult. I'd say it's probably easier than hunting is. But I don't know how profitable it is because I didn't get to sell any of my fish or whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, so rewind all the way back to the start of the game. And the start of the game, I'm gonna very specifically avoid spoiling anything. But I will say that the first 90 minutes or so of Red Dead Redemption 2 is pretty like structured. You don't get like you get a couple of choices. You get to make a couple of choices, but it's very much about like easing you in. And I think I said this last week, how I felt like what they were going to need to do was really ease you into the whole system, because the interaction, right, the way that you interact with people in the game is so different to what you're used to in other games, especially other Rockstar games, but games in general outside of, I guess, like fuck, I can't remember what they're called, Arcane, right? Outside of Arcane Studios, which I think puts a very heavy emphasis on always walking around with nothing in your hands, right? Like, sort of being unarmed as a default state. Like, obviously Arcane's not the only one. A number of games do that, but like, you know, Deus Ex and stuff like that. But like, Arcane is probably the pinnacle of it, having, you know, Prey and Dishonored 2 and Dishonored. Their track record is spectacular, you know, bugs notwithstanding. So, yeah. Outside of those games, right, in the scope of a open world sort of, I guess, Roma game, right? This interaction is not something we've ever seen before. Like, Assassin's Creed, right, has never done anything like this, and it's like it's actively pushing towards more of an RPG setting all the time, but it doesn't do anything quite like Red Dead does, where your active state is to try to talk to basically fucking everyone, whether or not they want to talk to you. And so they need a pretty significant, they got to get you to crawl before you can run, right? And so, yeah, the first 90 minutes is pretty structured in that sense. You don't get a lot of choices. You're just sort of doing stuff that is introducing you to all the systems. But the other thing it's introducing you to is the Vanderlyn gang, because the gang itself is a really, like, critical part of the Red Dead 2 experience. Mm-hmm. Like, you spend a lot of time with these people, and it's hard to give a fuck about any of them if you never really if you never have any engagement with them. So that they do a lot of work to get you into a point where you understand, or at least like you're acquainted with everyone. And some of them you like, and some of you don't. And you get the good feeling for all of the relationships that Arthur has with people in the gang. You get a good idea of his standing in the gang. And I think that's important because that allows them to set up other stuff down the road. And once you get to the point where you are able to do whatever the fuck you want, it does sort of it gives you like a motivation to do some of the, I guess, social things that you need to do to keep the gang running at maximum. Like intrinsically motivates you to do things to keep the gang going, as opposed to the extrinsic motivations that do exist, like the ability to, like, if you put enough money into the game, you'll be able to upgrade certain like elements. You'll be able to get better medicine from the medicine tent or whatever the fuck, right? You'll be able to eat food there and like clean yourself up and stuff like that. Yeah, more benefits. You get like extra horse stables and shit like that as well. Yeah. So those are the extrinsic ones, but by building up your relationship with all the other members of the gang and giving you an idea of who you like and who you don't, and like making them feel like fleshed out characters, they're giving you an intrinsic motivation to do it, because as Arthur, you feel sort of obliged to make sure the gang is kicking along, because, you know, you owe Dutch whatever, and et cetera, you know? So that's the first 90 minutes. It's still awesome. I mean, it's still fantastic. It looks gorgeous. My best, like, if I learn anything, and I'm 100% doing it when I play it, but I would recommend everyone do it, is if you hold down the touchpad, I don't know what the fuck the button is on Xbox. We've only previewed it on PlayStation, and I'm
it's probably A, right?
A, you right?
Probably.
No, it can't be A.
Wasn't it X on?
What?
Oh, you say what you're gonna say. Yeah.
Hold down the touchpad,
Yeah.
and you'll switch to cinematic camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be.
Right. Okay.
Maybe back button. Yeah,
No
it would be
idea.
back. Probably back button. On Xbox, but whatever it is, right? You switch. It'll tell you. It does tell you how to switch. You just want to do it earlier than it tells you, basically. But if you switch to cinematic camera and then you hold down X, which would be A on Xbox. If you hold down X, you will automatically follow whoever it is you're going on mission with, and you will match their pace, and your horse won't lose stamina, which is a really good way to like keep your horse healthy. And maintain your relationship with your horse, which is spectacularly important in Red Dead Redemption 2. The higher like your horse level is, the more shit it can do, the less tired it gets, all this kind of shit. But yeah, so you don't want to wear it out. And the other thing is, you don't have to like pay that much attention, and it's doing these rides to like give you a chance to talk to the other people and stuff. And you will just sort of churn through the conversations that you can have with them on default. It's an autopilot mode where everything looks this like they've really mastered the camera angle system in Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's showcased nowhere better than at the start of the game when you're on a snowy mountain trudging through a bunch of fucking like hills, and the snow's up to the horse's fucking knees, and you're just sort of clomping through. The sun's reflecting off the ice and snow, and it looks really fucking good. You don't have to do anything; you just hold X, which is awesome. It's fantastic. You still get all the exposition and all the conversation and stuff like that, but you don't have to really. I don't know, have any input. It's part of like their effort to blur the lines between the cinematic experience and the gameplay experience. They're trying to blur that cutscene gameplay situation. They do it quite a bit. They'll use some tricky camera angles. They do their skill shots and stuff like that. But yeah, it's the best way to go through the start, because you are going to have to do all that stuff. Like, you are just going to have to get through all of that, and you'll want to at the time. But if you laser in on wanting to get on the open world experience, then this will sort of streamline it. This will make you have to do less, I guess. It's still fun because they know how to construct fun missions. But it's not open world. The open world comes as soon as you leave the mountain. And as soon as you get off the mountain, you park it up at Horseshoe Outlook. Or Overlook? Outlook? I don't know. I wrote it like 18 times in my fucking story. One of those. Anyway, you park and set camp at Horseshoe, and then that's just outside of Valentine. This is where you would have been going to in your previous session, Luke.
Yeah.
And you can sort of just go from there. Even then, I would still heavily recommend you do basically all of the camp missions except for the one in Blackwater and the one with the guy tied up to a tree. Mm-hmm. If you do all of those, that like you'll be set up with the things that you're supposed to unlock along the way.
Yep.
Like horse stables and stuff like that. You know, they're still sort of breadcrumbing a few things, but that should get all of that out of the way, and you'll be ready to like really do whatever the fuck you want. And if you don't, you might be a little bit confused as to how you can do some of those things. Me, as soon as I was at Horseshoe, I bailed. I just fucking left and went in search of a fishing rod. I just wanted to do some fishing. It's awesome. Like, the world is so fucking big. Like, it feels massive. I know that, like, being on a horse, I guess if you immediately compare it to Grand Theft Auto, right? You know, cars go a lot faster than horses. And so you immediately feel like the world is a lot bigger because of that sense of scale based on your relative speed. But, like, even without it, it's a genuinely massive space. And yeah, you just, like, you can roam for ages just finding new shit to get involved with, like, just random encounters with people. As I said in the article, like, I was trying to find my fishing rod, and I fucked about forever. I cannot imagine what it must have been like watching me play this game, but I feel like
you the whole
time. They had Rockstar, like a Rockstar rep in the room at all times, like just silently.
Just like, what is this idiot doing?
It's like, yeah, is he seriously going to try and swim across this fucking lake on his horse? Yeah, like just dumb shit. I was just testing boundaries and shit.
You're like looking at, like, glancing at them on the side. Are they watching?
I 100% was like just trying to see what they were looking at, and see if they were reacting, see if anything was going on. Like, it was. Yeah.
Every once in a while, they'd like write something down on their notebook. And I'm like, what are you writing?
What are you writing? What was that?
What was that?
Why is it those pen strokes look like stabbed his eighth person for no reason? Possible psychopath. I did stab a lot of people. I would say I spent way more time using my knife as a weapon than my gun. I ultimately killed a lot more people with the gun, but my knife was my primary weapon.
You know what you should have done?
What?
You should have just immediately went and started playing, like, blackjack or, like, one of the card games, and then just fucking waited until they asked you, like, what are you doing? Just, like, play that the entire time.
6 hours of blackjack. Well, I'm going to review your blackjack system, see if it can be counted.
Red Dead Redemption 2's blackjack.
Make my article, How to Win at Red Dead Redemption's 2 Blackjack, and then just write, like, a card counting book. Just reprint some card counting strategy. I did play blackjack, though. I won, like, 3 hands, and then I lost a lot of money, and I walked away.
You didn't shoot them and take your money back?
I did not. No. Because where was I playing blackjack? I was playing blackjack in, I was in Rhodes, which is a town in the swamp area. So the swamp 100% caught me by surprise. I had no idea I was in the swamp. Not because it doesn't look like a swamp. It absolutely does. I just wasn't paying attention to that portion because I was so keenly trying to fucking spot a fishing rod. But I didn't notice that the water had sort of changed a different color, and like I sort of thought it was nighttime, and that was primarily why I thought it was getting super dark and slightly spooky. But after an alligator attempted to eat me, then I realized how much like a swamp it was. It was very much a swamp. It was basically like you could see a game of The Hunt taking place in this swamp. It's the Bayou area, which is to the southeast of the map, and it's in the area, like in the range of 2 towns. There's Rhodes, which is about the size of Valentine, and that's where I played blackjack. And I got into trouble there, and I didn't get away with it, but I wasn't intending on getting in trouble. Like, it wasn't my plan to get into trouble in Rhodes. I just happened to wind up in trouble in Rhodes. And then the other one is Saint Denis, which is a massive city in in Red Dead Redemption 2. It is fucking huge, like genuinely huge. So yeah, Rhodes. I was in Rhodes. I'd been to play some blackjack. I got into a fist fight because anytime anyone would like backchat me, I'd like start a fist fight with them. And this one, I threw the first punch, and so the sheriff was pissed off with me as a result. But so I had to pay a bounty to get out of that. It was like a $5 bounty. It was like fuck all, I think. That was fine. And when I went back, I was grumpy. I wanted to make some money back, so I held up the general store. Also, he wasn't selling fishing rods, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to take all his money. He had $12 on him, which was a bummer, because I needed a lot more than $12. So yeah, I held him up. I shot him because I feel like, yeah, I mentioned this in the article, but I feel like the bounty for robbery, armed robbery, and the bounty for murder are roughly the same thing. So if you can, like, if you murder someone, right? If you rob a shopkeep, you may as well murder them, right? If there's not going to be any witnesses, because then you'll get away with it, right? Yeah, they won't be able to go to the sheriff, right? But shooting was the mistake I made, because there were witnesses to the shooting. They heard the shooting and looked and saw that I'd murdered a dude. So now I had a bounty for the robbery and the murder, which is double the bounty. And I shot my way out, and I killed a couple of sheriffs. And so my bounty got up to like, I think it was $55. And I had about $60 on me after picking up a cool 12 from this general store. So I didn't really want to pay that. So I jumped on my horse and I was fucking piss bolting away. I was like going pretty well. I didn't want to shoot anymore because I knew that if I did, the bounty would go over the amount of money I had, in which case I'd sort of be trapped, right? I'd have to steal to make enough money to pay my bounty, but the stealing would probably cause a bigger bounty, and yeah, it'd be a bit of a sticky situation. So yeah, I'm riding away and I'm looking back to see where these sheriffs are, to watch and make sure that they're not right on my tail or whatever the fuck. And it turns out that they were right on my tail. And I'm like weighing up whether or not I shoot them, whether or not I do, and I'm using the mini map to sort of stay as close to the road as I can. But unfortunately, as close to the road was not on the road, and I rode underneath a tree branch. And if you ride under a tree branch, and the tree branch is low enough to collide with you, it will take you off. And you will be flat on your back. And it was pretty funny, like genuinely amusing. But then the sheriff who was right behind me, like, stopped and shot me dead while I was on the ground. So that was not as fantastic an outcome. I respawned back at Rhodes, but I was able to sneak into the postmaster's office to pay off my bounty. And so I was left with, like, nothing. I had no money. None at all. And so I was like, fuck Rhodes, I'm out of here. I saw some more random encounters. I've been like, I put one of them in my article, and it was probably my favorite one, but I don't want to talk too much about them because I don't want to, like, spoil them for people. I have no idea how many random encounters there are going to be in the game. I have no actual knowledge about that number. I assume it's going to be heaps. If it's anything like GTA 5, it'll be heaps, and you'll wind up, like, seeing the same things as some people, but generally you'll see your own shit a lot as well, right? But still, I don't want to, like, spoil the random encounters for people, you know? I don't want to, like, reveal all the ones I saw and then people will know them all or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I want them to continue to be a surprise. I gave one example. The one I used in the the article was the chain gang making an escape. So I heard some yelling and rode over, and it was a chain gang next to this like the side of a road, and the road had a cart, a cage on a cart being pulled by horses, and like just parked on the side of the road. And there's this chain gang working on some rocks, and these two prisoners were having an argument, and the guard walked up to try to break it up, and they like pounced on him and like killed him. Drew his gun from his holster, shot him, and then shot the other guard, and the other guard managed to shoot a third prisoner before they could do it. And they recognized that Arthur was sitting there, and like recognized that I was present, but they didn't like do anything. Like they ran away, and one of them yelled something like, "Don't say nothing, man," and that was it. Like it was a really cool situation, because it felt like Arthur existed in the world. He was present. They recognized that he's an outlaw, and wasn't going to do anything to like fuck with their plans, their escape plans. So they didn't have to do anything about him. They didn't like point the gun and tell me to leave or anything like that. I would have shot him dead if they had. It was cool. Like, it was just a really cool experience. And there were a bunch of these, and I don't want to go into them, right? So I don't want to spoil them. They're like, you just feel like you are going from one interesting aside to another. And there are some that are way more involved than others. There's the serial killer that I spoke about from my first preview.
Yeah.
There's that. That is such a cool fucking little, like, organic quest that you can figure out if you're paying enough attention, but otherwise you'll probably miss. And like, they've got all the strange missions which they've carried over from GTA 5, you know, but it's expanded, you know, like looking for the best gunslingers around the world and stuff like that, right? And you got these legendary animals you can hunt and stuff like that, right? And it feels like, yeah, there's heaps for you to do, but it's all, the other thing is that it's not like all over your minimap. You don't like take 4 steps and see something on your minimap and it'll be like, oh yeah, I should probably like check that out, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is a problem in some other open world games. Like some other games in the genre have a bit of a tendency to, I think, weigh people down with way too much information. Like information about, they're so busy trying to show you all the cool shit you can do,
yeah,
that it sort of robs it of its coolness, I guess.
Yeah, like rather than have it be a marker on the map, just have it just be a thing that happens to you.
Yeah, exactly. And it, like, doing it, Red Dead's like ability to do it that way is so fucking cool. It winds up working so fucking well because you just, yeah, you feel like you would just go somewhere and find something to get done, to do, or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so that was Rhodes. I died. I paid it off, and then I went to Saint Denis, and this was really cool. I saw, it's actually in the second gameplay trailer. There's
I haven't watched that yet.
Right. Well, at one point they're talking about like things. There's all these things you can do, and they don't specifically mention it. But at one, like, Arthur's like wrenching this bookshelf open.
Yeah. And
I happened upon that bookshelf, that exact bookshelf, like completely by random. And it was like, I want to open this fucking bookshelf. And yeah, I tried. Like, I absolutely tried, but I couldn't work it out. So while I was trying to open this bookshelf, yeah, I like sort of just wandered around, did whatever I could to make it happen. I could not work it out at all. I will absolutely be returning to it when I get the full game. But yeah, I like decided that my only option was to shoot or to rob the guy, the storekeep, the shopkeep. Yep. So when you hold L2 to interact with someone, you've got the option to draw your weapon, and then once you've drawn your weapon, you're able to choose to rob them, which is what I did. So I pointed my gun at him. It's like functionally pretty similar to robbing a convenience store in Grand Theft Auto. But you can do it to anyone who sells anything. And yeah, it did not, like, he didn't open up this bookshelf. So again, I found myself in that like tricky situation where I didn't want to be caught for the robbery. I didn't want to leave a witness. But this time, instead of shooting him, which would make a lot of noise, I just stabbed him instead. So I switched to my knife real quick and then I stabbed him. But literally, as I did that, someone walked past the window and there was a witness. And this was a fence. He's like a purveyor of illegal goods. So he didn't have a front door. So I couldn't get out to the person. So, yeah. I didn't have the chance. I still had to get the money from the register. He had like $30, which was awesome. It was fuck tons. It was a good cash injection. But yeah, the cops were on me. I could see on the minimap, a cop was running in. So I hid behind the door and I stabbed him in the back. And it was so brutal. It was like this massive fucking stab. And then he like wrenches him off it and lets him flop to the ground. And there are so many fucking animations for brutal ways to kill someone with a knife. It's crazy. The best one was, I didn't write about this exactly, but another deputy ran in and ran up to me, and I pressed R2. I thought I was going to like pistol whip him. No. Arthur just grabs his like gun hand and pulls it to his side, and then puts a gun underneath his chin and pulls the trigger. And so the dude just has his fucking brains blown out. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. And then I had to, shoot my way out of this fucking store. So I used Deadeye. I fucked it up a bit. I painted too many people. There are multiple levels of Deadeye, but I've only ever seen the one, which is the one where you paint people. I guess that must be the first level, but it feels like the most powerful. So I don't understand how you'd build from there. Like, I don't understand how you'd get to a different level of Deadeye that would be better than automatically murdering people wherever the fuck you paint the shots, you know? Yeah, so I shot my way out of the store and like fucking hoofed it down these alleys, but they were very confusing. There's a lot of alleys, and Saint Denis is a massive city. It's got like paved streets, it's got a tram, it's got all this kind of stuff. It's like very modern, but yeah, I was very lost in it. And so I wound up making my way down a dead end, and the dead end had a gate at the end. It was this massive wrought iron gate that I couldn't climb over. But a deputy, walked past the gate and looked in and could see me, and so they knew where I was. And I must have, I had about a good 40 seconds trying to work out how I could get out of this dead end, because the run out was basically... It was a run to nowhere. I wasn't going to, get away trying to run back that direction. It was too long with not enough options. So I just tried to escape over the wrought iron fence, but I never did work it out. And by the time the cops had arrived, what I do, I threw a Molotov cocktail at them, or a fire bottle, as it's called. But I overthrew it. And then I use my red eye again. But
Dead
there
eye.
were way too many. Dead eye, sorry. Dead eye. Red eye.
Dark Souls. You cracked some red orbs.
Wasn't Red Eye that energy drink back in the day as well? Was that the one? Do you remember that?
I not.
Came in
heard it.
bottles. Hackers always drank it.
Did they? Mountain Dew. No, I don't know.
Mountain Dew. So anyway, yeah, Dead Eye. I tried Dead Eye again, but there were way too many fucking cops. And yeah, it was like... It was actually this fight that I realised why I had been so generally bad at gunfighting throughout the game. I was like sort of putting it down to being out of practice with shooting with a controller. Yeah, but it wasn't that, because anytime I like cracked out the repeating rifle, I murdered cunts. I fucking slayed motherfuckers. There's like enough the auto aim, the like aim adjust is like generous enough and helpful enough that like, yeah, you don't need to worry about that kind of shit. Like, I was slaying cunts with the rifle, but the revolver that you start off with is a single action revolver, and single action means you have to like pull the hammer down and then fire it. And like, I think generally when we think of revolvers, we think of the double action where you pull the trigger and that pulls the hammer back, and it's all like one thing. So you pull a trigger and it's kills.
Yeah.
But single action is like delayed. Like each shot is like bang, bang. Like instead of bang, 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 bang. And you can do the quick draw, like hammer out 6 shots real quick on the the single action, but it's like not as accurate. You can't like aim down sights to make it happen. So, sorry. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was that. I died. Obviously, I murdered a lot of cops. A lot of sheriffs, and so I had a massive bounty on my head. And yeah, it was sort of like it was $145. I didn't really have any fucking hope of getting out of Saint Denis alive, because the area of influence of Saint Denis, it's such a large city that the borders of it, like I couldn't go back to Rhodes with this bounty. Like the bounty hunters be hunting me there and shit, and if a lawman saw me while I was in Rhodes, they'd be after me, and like it felt very oppressive how deep this bounty went for. Sort of fucked. So my only real option was to get the fuck out of Saint Denis and the entire area, the bayou, because it's a swamp town. It's like New Orleans. So my plan was to hop a train. I didn't want to go to the I didn't want to pay for a train ticket, because that's the postmaster. That's where you pay the bounty off. I wasn't sure if he'd be mad at me not paying off the bounty or not. And yeah, it seemed like I couldn't get a stagecoach, although I believe that might have just been stagecoaches not running at time, because all the things in the game sort of run on an internal schedule, and so certain things aren't open at certain times. You just sort of have to deal with that. Like the hotel might be open at all times, but the gunsmith is only open in business hours or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the stagecoach just happened to be closed at the time. It wasn't actually unavailable due to my bounty or whatever the fuck. I think I just was too early. But the train had just pulled in anyway, so I just waited. I heard it, like, its whistle, and then I ran up alongside it, and I hopped onto it. And at first I hopped on a guarded car, and these two dudes inside of the car pointed guns at me and told me to get away. So I had to jump back off this moving train, and that was inconvenience. I rolled for long enough that the only carriage left was the caboose. I basically nearly missed the train because I'd spent so much time rolling. The best part, I managed to get on it, and the train started to pick up steam. And the best part was my horse was galloping alongside the train as fast as it fucking could, and then it fucking ruined some cunt. Like, this dude just sort of walking along next to the train, and then the horse fucking barrels out of nowhere and just fucking cleans him up. And so the horse stopped, and this dude was 1,000% dead. He was absolutely dead, which was pretty funny. Yeah, so that was pretty good. And the train took me out of, like, I just sort of sat in cinematic camera mode until I was out of the range of the bounty, so I could jump off. I jumped off, another tuck and roll affair. Didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. And then I caught a stagecoach back to Valentine. I was just sort of like, I knew I had like less than 30 minutes left in my playtime.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming to an end, and so I wanted to do some like hunting and stuff, because I hadn't really done much of that. You do a bit of it in the like startup missions, but I hadn't done a lot. And I did like hunting bears. I thought it was pretty amusing. They're pretty scary, so yeah, I wanted to give it a punt. A punt on my own. And yeah, that was fucking terrifying, man. Actually, I think I was pretty loud. I think I'm generally pretty loud at preview sessions. Like, I'm usually pretty vocal
about letting people know you're there.
yeah. I just react a lot. Yeah, there was that. So this bear came charging down a mountain at me, and it did not give a fuck about my bow and arrow. Like, it didn't care at all about when I shot a fucking arrow in its face. It did actually initially care, only because it was fucking pissed. So the bear barreling down, that was hilarious. I thought it was like one of the best things. And then when it catches you, it is 100% that scene from fucking The Revenant. Like, it gets all up in your shit. You do not want to get eaten by a fucking bear. They are terrifying. So yeah, that was pretty funny. That was like good fun. Drowning was pretty funny, because my canoe got a hole in it or something and just sank while I was halfway across this river, this lake. And there was literally no way I was getting back. I couldn't have swum back even if I wanted to, because Arthur swim. Seriously, I've seen babies swim better than fucking Arthur does. So yeah, I couldn't have swum back even if I'd wanted to. I was never making it to the other side. There were no boats close enough for me to steal another one. So yeah, I just sort of like paddled, safe in the knowledge that I was definitely going to die. So yeah, there was that. The crocodile coming out of nowhere. I do not know how I did not see these crocodiles, but I didn't. And so I'm like just paddling across the river in the swamp, and I'm like, what's going on with that log? And it was seriously like at the end of The Usual Suspects. You know when he drops the coffee cup and you can see it's Kobayashi, and all this shit starts to come together for him, and he's like, fat as an orca, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, holy fuck, Furblekin is Kaiser Soze, or perhaps Kobayashi is Kaiser Soze, because let's face it, that dude who plays Kobayashi, the lawyer, looks more Hungarian than Kevin Spacey does, but that's a fan theory that I have never been able to get off the ground. Anyway, that was what it was like for me in the swamp. I'm like swimming across the swamp. I'm like, what's with that log? This is a pretty weird log. And then it like dawned on me. I'm like, yeah, those trees are pretty. That's a creepy, dilapidated jetty, and those houses are pretty fucked up. And wow, this water's really murky. And then, oh my god, it's an alligator. And then the alligator fucking ate me. Like, it was pretty good. Like, all of this thinking happened in the space of a nanosecond, but it felt like it was taking forever. So that was funny for me as well. I was cacking it. But the best one was obviously wandering around in swamp area and a fucking snake bit me. It was just like a and then like the attack happened out of nowhere. I must have stepped on this fucking snake, and I shrieked extremely loudly. Everyone could hear it. Like the Rockstar dudes they're in the Take-Two offices at they're in the 2K offices, 2K Australia offices, but they're in this like attic area. They're like all the way at the top, and they reckon that they could hear me in their office, which meant everyone below them could hear me, because there's one level and then there's the second level, which is the office. First level is sort of like all the play area for 2K. Second level is the office, and then the third level is all Rockstar. And the third level could hear me, then all of the second level could hear me. So that was pretty good. And I shrieked like a tiny baby, and it was good.
You weren't playing first person, were you?
No, that would have saved me from the fucking snake. What did I do in first person? I did a bunch of fist fights in first person. They're good fun. Rode my horse first person. Rode the train in first person.
Do you think you're going to play the whole thing in third?
I will probably mostly play in third person, yeah. Just because I think it's a little bit easier to manage. Because they do, it's very cool for the gimmick, and like I do it a lot in Grand Theft Auto. When I'm doing that stupid thing I do where I obey all the road rules, I'll often drive in first person. But when I'm trying to get some shit done in Grand Theft Auto, I will do it in third person. I just think, ultimately you've just got a wider field of view, so you don't get fucking blindsided nearly as much. Hunted the bear ate me. It was fucking spectacular. I loved it to pieces. And then I went back. That was the end of the session. Like, I'd run out of time, basically. I wasn't able to hunt a bear with a bow. And so I'd run out of time. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to like throw myself into this river in first person. So I did. Went down the rapids in first person. That's pretty good. Like, it's actually pretty like daunting. You feel like you are well out of control and being tumbled about in a bunch of water and stuff like that. So it's pretty well done. And I went over this waterfall, and at the bottom was a guy fishing, and it was the just most staggering fucking coincidence. It was bananas. It felt, I've talked about it already, but it was surreal how it would work out that way. So I shot him in the side of the head and stole his fucking fishing rod. And then I did a bit of fishing. Caught 2 fish. While I was fishing, the notification that a witness had arrived. I did all this in first person too. But the notification about witness, because it tells you when someone's witnessed a murder. It's because someone had rode by.
Yeah.
And I was still standing on his dead body. So, they reported the crime, sadly. But that's okay. It didn't matter. That was, there's so much I need to talk about. I don't know. Like, I could go on for ages. I've spent so much time fucking about. Like, picking herbs and hunting like inconsequential animals, just trying to shoot down like sparrows and shit, and like the snake that bit me, I emptied like 6 shots at it and I missed with all of them, which is pretty good. Hunting like crazy dumb animals, rabbits, boars, skinning them for no good reason, trying to use their carcasses as bait for other animals. Just fucking... It was just good. I just had, oodles of fun.
Yeah, right. And did you see anything from the other session, like the missions?
Yeah, you do the train session. That's one of the, like, prior to heading to Horseshoe. Not far prior, not much prior, but just prior to heading to Horseshoe. You do the train mission where you try to blow up the train tracks. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that. And so I did that again, and the mission that, like, I said to not do, the one where the dude's tied to the tree, that's the stealth mission. And that was the last mission. Like, I wasn't allowed to do that mission. That would have been the end of the session. I just chose to straight up not do the mission. Yeah. Because obviously I'd done it before. And yeah. So that was the stuff that I'd already seen, I guess. You learn, like, there was some stuff. Like, remember how the saloon was closed? Yeah. In Valentine, you learn why that's closed and all this kind of stuff. But yeah. Yeah. I think that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. I'm sure we'll be talking about that more. Like, it's only, 3 weeks away?
Yeah, we're absolutely going to be talking about it more.
Yeah. All right.
And yeah, that's it. Yeah, go read my... It's just like 3,200 words. It's a big read. I often wonder if, like, I should just read that shit out and put it on YouTube, but I think Red Bull would be upset about it, so I don't. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Because, yeah, I don't know. I know some people don't like to read. Yeah. What have I heard so far? A friend helpfully informed me that the plural of deer is deer, not deers, which is what I wrote. So it must be like a sheep situation. I had no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Classic. But yeah,
got him.
That's all. That's it. Yeah, and yeah, that's about it.
All right, that's about it for the last hour.
Yeah, maybe.
Should we talk about some news then?
Let's do it.
All right, we got Fallout 76 beta is coming out October 23rd on Xbox first. I guess this is due to their partnership with Xbox, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. And then it'll be later on coming to PC and also PlayStation.
Yes. So, yeah. First on Xbox, it doesn't, like... It's the 20... Is it the 30th? It's a week later for PC and Xbox, right? PC and PS4.
Yep.
They're fucking nuts, right?
Interesting.
3 days after the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2, like, Fallout, the Xbox One is, what, less than 2 weeks after the launch of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I don't know what they're doing. Are they trying to keep numbers down so that their servers don't get slammed, or what? Or is it just like, I guess you got to release at some point this month? I just don't get it. It's just an odd fucking choice of timing. Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, when is the game out? 14th of November. Yeah, I don't know, man. They've got a... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just thought they could get away with doing it then. It's a weird spot to put it, I think.
Like, it's just... Yeah, it's just a dumb time to do it.
For you. For you. I want to play both. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. I guess, yeah, and yeah, I don't know, my Xbox isn't working, so what am I supposed to do there? Yeah, okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's that, I guess.
Yep. Next story is the president of Blizzard has stepped down. You might know a bit more about this, maybe?
Yeah, so Mike Morhaime stepped down as CEO, and J. Allen Brack has stepped up to take his place. It's like, I don't know. They I think we knew that this was going to happen, right? Because I think Morhaime's been saying that he wants to retire or at least wind back his involvement for a while. I don't think this is like a it's not like a sacrificial CEO sacking or anything. I think this is just part of the plan. But it's odd that it happened so close to BlizzCon, I think, without but just before BlizzCon, you know? I wonder if how this is gonna impact BlizzCon because he's been there for so fucking long, right? Are they gonna celebrate his time with the company or
Well, he's staying there still.
But he's no longer is he no longer the CEO or no longer president?
It says he's going to stay on as strategic advisor.
Right. But he's not going to, traditionally, he's, opened BlizzCon, right?
Yeah.
But wouldn't you have J. Allen Brack do that?
I don't know.
Right?
I guess we'll find out, right? Maybe this is just their way of being like, hey, this guy's brought in World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo 3, Hearthstone. That's sort of his legacy, and then maybe the next one will be like, all right, well, when what is it? Everyone's thinking Diablo for this BlizzCon, and maybe this is just his era.
Yeah,
and he takes over from here.
Yeah, maybe. I definitely think they'll do something to, pay tribute, obviously. I just don't know how it's going to play out. While we are talking about Diablo 4, did you see they've got, 2 fucking massive keynote spots for Diablo on the schedule?
No, I've not seen
Yeah, and one of them is directly after the opening keynote, so there's almost guaranteed a Diablo announcement. I don't know what I'd prefer. Either Diablo 2 remastered. I don't want Diablo 1 remastered. I don't give a fuck. Or Diablo 4. I'm not sure.
Diablo 4 for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they've learnt, if they can take what they've learnt, what they did with 3, and make that into a new game, then I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
3 turned into an awesome game.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Over time, it turned into a really good game that I think, everyone should get into. I think it's coming out on Switch, right? Pretty soon. And I think Switch is it's a pretty good, place for it, to be honest. Thanks to the work done to make it work on PS4, I think it's a good space to play Diablo. But yeah, I'd still love a Diablo 2 remastered. I do believe that they will do a Diablo 1 remastered first, and I'm 99% sure the next one to be remastered will be Warcraft. So yeah, I doubt that we're going to see Diablo 2 remastered, but I think I'd prefer it over Diablo 4, to be honest, because I just don't think they're not going to do PvP in Diablo 4. They promised it for ages in Diablo 3, they never did it. So, yeah, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
And that's what ultimately, the most fun I had, I think, in Diablo 2. After running endless amounts of people through the game, I think the most amount of time I had was... most amount of fun I had was PvP in Diablo 2. So, yeah. Anyway. Cool.
Alright, and the next one is the some sort of Harry Potter leak from Warner Brothers.
Yeah!
So this one was interesting because Warner Brothers was declining to confirm whether or not this is real, but at the same time taking down all the videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's generally an indication that, yes, this is not right.
Yeah.
that something's going on.
That it's got some veracity to the claims. So Monkey Magic shared a link of this on our Discord. I hadn't seen it before that. I actually think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to play it, but I know, my little sister fucking adores Harry Potter. I know Harry Potter dorks would fucking love it. Because it actually looks like a genuinely good, like, action RPG type game. Like, yeah. Something that looks like they put effort in, as opposed to just sort of farting out something with the license on it, which is good. It's the right, step in the right direction. Yeah.
Yeah. What is this? I'm checking. Eurogamer's got a article up from a BBC journo, looks like, who's saying that he's spoken to sources and confirmed that it's real.
Right. Okay.
So somebody not in the games industry.
But not Rockstar Games, right? I think I read somewhere.
No, Rocksteady was the rumor.
Not Rocksteady, yeah. Not Rocksteady Games.
It sounds like it's not Rocksteady.
Right.
But anyway, I guess we'll wait and see, right?
Yeah.
What's going on? The Game Awards coming up very, very soon, and I'm sure we'll hear some stuff at some stage about that. But
Word.
I'll have to watch it. I still haven't seen it. I haven't watched the Red Dead stuff. I haven't seen any of this Harry Potter footage, but yeah, everyone's going crazy for it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's it. That's news. That's all we got.
Actually, there was one thing we talked about last week.
Yep.
That we've seen more of this week, and that would be the dire wolves at Worlds Play-ins.
Okay.
Yeah. So the dire wolves. Like, obviously, I was upset because Shern was at the World's Play-ins and, got banned for two games, which felt like it was sort of a fucking insurmountable, climb for the team. But, yeah. Ubisoft subbed in for the team, and they won their first game against Infinity. It was fucking awesome. They didn't manage to get up in their second, unfortunately. I believe, against, I think it's Edge. They will be playing again tonight.
Yep.
I think, if I recall correctly. Yeah, tonight. Shern is back, so it'll be interesting to see how he slots back in, but it shouldn't be a problem. It was just awesome seeing Ubisoft. This dude who was playing for the Cubs, lift, and he's just flown in. He hasn't been doing all the boot camping like the others, and yeah, he just fucking made it work. It was sick. Cool. It was really cool. They played really good too. They're I think their team strat wasn't fantastic, but they made up with it just by straight out playing.
Yeah. So what happens if they lose this next game then? Is it what happens?
So the way the play-ins work is it's like a best of ones, but they play twice, I think. So it's essentially best of twos round robin type deal. So they are 1-1 so far in their group. Edge is 2-0, and Infinity is 0-2. So I think if they lose both games tonight, against Infinity and Edge, if they lose both games tonight, I think they'll have a tiebreaker against Infinity to see who wins.
Okay. In
which case they might want to fucking call Ubisoft back up because he managed to get it done against Infinity. But yeah, I'm sure that won't be necessary. I actually would really love to see if Edge could get up. If Direwolves could get up, because like I said, the one thing that was missing was team cohesion, but that's because they were playing with a substitute player out of nowhere. And so if they've got their full team, they might have mechanics and fucking teamwork. So it might be definitely some kick-ass shit, which is cool.
Right. Yeah, okay. I'm just reading the tournament format, and it just seems weird to me the way it works. It's strange.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. That's why my explanation of what was going on is shit.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Let's see what happens then.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that all we got? Questions?
Questions. We got 2 bits. 2 bits. Alright, Momo writes, Probs a hangover from embargoes on physical products, or the discs contain content that doesn't require a connection and is still embargoed until release date. I believe this is a answer to Johnny Bravo's question about companies like EB prohibited from handing out the game for games that require an online connection. Most immediate example being Black Ops 4, which is online only. You can purchase it online and preload and play for midnight, or order a physical copy of the game, and if you can be fucked, go to midnight launch. So Momo has thrown in his theory, his or her theory rather, of why. I think that's one of the things he said. Yeah, embargo on the days of physical. It's also, stores need to justify their general existence. But yeah. Then Firestorm writes, yeah, it'll likely be a sales embargo of physical goods. They can get massive consequences if they break it. Those aren't questions. I mean, I saw I saw a question mark, but they weren't questions. I've been rope-a-doped. I've been zwad. You got me good, you fuckers. Do we have any in the emails? No, I guess we're done. It's time to go get drunk, Luke.
Okay.
And it's apparently the only way we're going to get through fucking Venom.
The only way that, we'll probably go through this.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. No questions. Alright, cool, that's alright. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, YouTube, under the Gap, the GA Podcast. You can search for us, and we should show up.
We will.
Under the Gap, GA Podcast. One of those two. Do that. You can, as I said, find us on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/GA Podcast. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/GA Podcast. Facebook.com/GA Podcast. All those fun places. If you do follow us on YouTube, subscribe. I saw a bunch of them coming through while I was traveling. I haven't had a chance to check emails at all. So, anyway, muchly appreciated people subscribing on there. That's awesome.
Sweet.
And let us know what you think, I guess. Give us some feedback, because I'm kind of just dumping it up there on a really low quality video format to try and get the file as small as possible. But then basically what happens is YouTube also encodes it, so I don't know what size they're putting it at. Yeah, right. So it looks even worse, or whatever. Even if me making it that low is any good, because they're probably just encoding it to something high, and it's just ending up as a big file anyway. I have no idea, but anyway, I'm trying. So go check it out on there if you want to do that. And what else can you go find us on? You can go to our website, which is gapodcast.com. It's got all the links we just talked about, including past episodes of the show. And other things and bits and pieces on there. You can also find us on Discord, the gapodcast.com/Discord, if you want to jump in, talk about some games. I'll leave some questions, just general chat. There was a bunch of stuff going on in general chat while I was away again. I still haven't looked at it. Some good chats. Good chats. Heaps. Windows patches, people talking about. I don't know. Yeah. That's basically it. Pretty much it. Yeah. And that's it. I think that's it. Did I get everything? Patreon. Patreon.com. Patreon. GA Podcast. You want to help support the show, you can go to that. Muchly appreciated. Everyone does that every month. Yeah. And, genuinely. It's the best. It helps us put this show up and lets us get away with doing stupid shit. Like yapping about video games for 3 hours? Yeah, close to that. Nice. 240. Oh, pathetic. We can just another 20 minutes. Yeah, just ramble on. Yeah. Cool. Venom tonight. And I guess we'll talk about that more next week. I'll be able to talk about Fallout 76 and maybe some other things. Odyssey is out tomorrow. Odyssey is out. I don't have a copy. I might get a copy, but hopefully we'll be able to get a copy or copies of that, and we'll be able to talk about that a little bit. I wonder if I'm spoiled for it. I honestly do. Yeah.
Well,
Maybe
I wonder
fucked
if,
it.
like, I'm just gonna get in and be like, this isn't fucking Red Dead, man.
That'll be for
Be a
everything.
huge
like
fucking
Call of Duty
tool
Black
about it.
Ops.
That's true.
This isn't Red Dead.
Well, it's still got fucking Blackout, baby, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Odyssey's been reviewing very well. Which is interesting.
It has been.
Alright.
I've seen people call it the game of the year.
Yeah, well, it's the game of the year that may be played.
Yeah.
Because they
The
didn't
game of
make
the
God
year
War.
until the game of the year. Yeah, right? Like, crazy.
It is great.
I got Transference as another VR game.
All right, yeah, cool. Did
The
you
full
finish it?
thing. I haven't played it yet, which is
Okay.
why we didn't talk
This
about
is
it.
gonna
But yes, I will be interested to see how this one goes. Yeah, so we can talk about that next week. And we're going to go to an Assassin's Creed obstacle
Challenge.
course.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it outside.
Pissing down rain. I
is
suspect we
wet.
will not.
Things to do
Yeah.
with video games.
That's it. Has it ever rained in Assassin's Creed? I guess in Black Flag, right?
Yeah.
That's about it, though. Anyway, yeah, that's it. And
it.
we'll be talking. I'll be hooting and hollering if the Direwolves make it through the next stage, because that'll be fucking awesome. I'm still annoyed at Shern for unprofessionalism, but the fact that they managed to get away with it is fantastic. They're still my team, and let's get it done.
Okay.
Go, you good things.
Are you actually
Right.
trying to drag this out for another 15 minutes, or
Sorry, I'll shut up.
you got anything you want to pimp out?
Yeah, go to redbull.com and check out my Red Dead Redemption piece. It is called... What the fuck is it called? The Time Fishing Took Me All Over the World of Red Dead Redemption 2, or 6.5 hours of Red Dead Redemption. I can never remember how fucking... Just go on my Twitter and you'll find it. At Joby Jojo. Or Red Bull's Twitter.
Right.
You should find it there. Yeah, check that shit out. I think it's a good piece. I mean, yeah, it's long. It's 3,200 words. I am ever in need of I need like an editor who will like sit down and be like, Joab, you cannot write this many fucking words. Like, just exercise some fucking restraint for once in your life.
How many
Because
was it?
I know 3,200.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It was going to be shorter. Your thing was fucking long.
And
Yours is like 2,500, I
yeah,
reckon.
it's like 25, yeah.
Yeah. Yours is fucking long. Mine only wound up being longer because I had planned on doing 2 pieces, and I just folded a bunch of one of the pieces into the other. So it wound up blowing the size out a bunch more. I didn't want to do 2 pieces because I didn't want to do 2 bits of Farrelly's job for him,
Yeah, fair enough.
basically.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah, go check that out. What about you? Anything?
Survivor.com, yeah. Red Dead was the last thing I did on that. Up on that site. Yeah, my Red Dead thing is going to show up in some marketing stuff, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah?
We'll see. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Otherwise, Press Start. If you go to Press Start, I'll have my Fallout 76 stuff up on there. This
When
site's
the embargo
early-
lifts.
Yeah, early next week. Just search Press Start in Google. It'll show up. It's a pretty big site.
Sweet.
And
Actually, before we do, I know I'm not doing this on purpose, but I did want to I want to like pimp things from other people out more. So I feel like it's very boring if I just pimp out my own stuff, and I did
about
want to say, well, you pimp out your own stuff, don't you?
what if we swap it? And next week,
You pimp out mine, and I'll pimp out yours.
yeah.
Nice. No, I was going to say read Tom Anderson's write up of the state of Dota 2 in Australia on Red Bull. It's good. Yeah, it's a good. It's a good piece.
Does it just say non-existent, and then that's it?
But yeah, that was my overall like standard operating position. Was that, yeah, okay, well, there's nothing going on when he pitched it, but yeah. No, it's deeper than that. It's good. It's a good read, so check it out.
Yeah. All right, sounds good.
It's cool to think that like I am shaping someone who in 4 to 5 years could be the esports journalist of the year when I assume I've retired, because until then it will be me every fucking year. I run this fucking shit. Alright, yeah.
That's
cool.
It. See you.
Bye.
Bye.